Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is The Real, episode 267 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
E3!
GG! That voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. Sir, what is up with you?
I don't know what happened. Suddenly, I felt like I lost my voice at some point. I was starting to get concerned. I don't know if you noticed that. I went quiet for a second. I'm like, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, like that was the last thing that anybody heard from me. E3
ever again, yeah. His last words, famous last words that will be etched in your tombstone, sir, is E3 with 30 exclamation points.
E3 2021. Never die.
A show that was, sir.
What a
over
show.
4 days, there were announcements, reveals, cringy moments, awkward press conferences. Press conferences, on some of them, it's questionable whether we can use that as a description of what they presented. And
some
yet,
of them were showcases. Some of them were just cases.
Yeah. Well said, sir. Well said. Yeah, guys. So we are back here, and we're going to be recapping everything in E3. First off, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit off. I am dealing with an overdose of garlic. So,
Also, otherwise known as Garlic Gate 2021, or the garlic incident.
It's a funny thing. It's actually very it's very tricky. Garlic can actually be a little spicy if you use correctly with certain things. But yeah, man, I am sweating garlic, guys. Seriously sweating garlic over here.
That sounds like a horrible condition.
It's bad. It's bad.
You probably should stop podcasting and call 911.
I won't name the name of the place where I ordered. But I got some wings, and there was supposed to be garlic parmesan. Unfortunately, it was just garlic and garlic, and then more garlic. And they forgot to add the salt. So it was not the best of experiences, and now I am paying for it.
I told you not to order wings from Wawa. I mean, you're the one that were convinced that to try them out. It's like,
I mean, hey, last time I did sushi from a gas station, that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's certain things can happen.
Like a gas station. Wow. You're feeling certainly very excitedly in your food. Should I start calling you, what's his name from the show that he has where he goes to places where he used to travel?
Andrew Zimmer?
No, the one that passed away.
Oh, no. Oh, God. No. Anthony Bourdain. Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain.
No.
Yeah, that's you going to a freaking Steak and Shake to order the lobster.
Yeah. The chicken surprise. It's not chicken. Yeah. I'm definitely paying for it. They say you sleep better when you eat garlic, but clearly I will be sleeping alone. I think
not your wife. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Probably because you'll be alone in the bed.
Yeah. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, first, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. That takes you right to our Facebook group.
I wanna rock.
And of course,
don't forget the S.
And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do, this is what we normally do, guys. First, we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and of course, we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week, it's going to be a little different. This week's hot topic.
Oh,
caught off guard. Yes, nailed it. This week's hot topic is the news, guys. And of course,
exactly.
It will be all about the E3 and, of course, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have a little, I don't say game, but we're gonna a different way of presenting our recap, and we'll get into that a little later on in the show. Obviously, since that is literally the news of the week,
the main event.
Yeah, we're not going to have a regular. We're going to have a regular news segment, but it's okay. I think you will be pretty satisfied with the news bits that we will have.
We'll make some shit up.
Yeah, exactly. We always love to start rumors for the rumor mill. You never know.
Yes.
But anyway, let's go ahead and start, sir, with what we have been up to, Mr. Santos.
Yes, sir.
What you been doing, sir? Outside of E3.
Outside of E3, well, shoot, now you blew away my part then, because I got nothing else to say. I just did E3. Oh. No, that's not true. That's not true. I played a couple games. Actually, that's not true either. It's just the one game I've been playing.
So you're just lying left and right here. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I'm trying to think man, usually I have a couple games that I've played, but this time I just did the one, and the one was enough. And the one was Final Fantasy VII Remake, sir. It turns out that I owe that game a big fat apology for the way I mistreated it when it was announced and continued release. I never said, the game was going to be back, because Final Fantasy VII, come on. Although it's Square Enix, so also come on.
Exactly. You never know.
You never know. After Final Fantasy 15, and then hearing, the combat's going to be active, kind of like Final Fantasy 15. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want that, ever again. I don't know if you were able to pull that off in Final Fantasy 15. It certainly had its fans, but I wasn't on the mix. So, but I do recall, early screenshots, stuff like that, and I was a little concerned about the character design and stuff like that, because even though they look fine for what that game was, obviously during the PlayStation 1 era, which was like chibi anime, I wasn't a super fan of the look in Advent Children. But I understood why it was meant to go that way. But, that spiky hair, it's kind of like funky and ridiculous. But still, I was still like, whatever.
And yet people wear it all the time.
Whatever. It's Aerith's bangs, no hair goes like that ever. Not even cosplayers can pull it without resorting to using major amounts of
hair product.
Yes. There's no way it's impossible to do proper cosplay anime right without looking like half of your time getting ready was spent on your hair. So, but it's still Final Fantasy VII. I was like, at the very least, I should be able to enjoy this. I should be able to like this. And then I played it last year, and it just blew my ever fucking mind away. It blew the idea of what the game was phenomenal. And yes, that is with PHI, phenomenal.
PHI, I love it. So it's also Spanish.
Exactly. Phenomenal.
I love it.
Phenomenal. No, so, and by the way, if you guys haven't played this game, by this point, there's no excuse for you, because this game got to be free at one point on PSN. And if you own a PlayStation, you probably have PSN, because it makes sense. If not, feel free to skip me, as usual, because there's going to be spoilers on it, on Final Fantasy VII Remake, a remake of a game from eons ago. Yeah. Yes. So the reason I say it was my ever loving mind is the realization that, oh shit, this is not a game. This is not a remake in the sense of let's redo the game, the original game. This is more of a remake in the sense of let's add to this universe a very unexpected and out of left field sequel to the game that you played actually in 97. So that way, if you didn't play the game in 97, you're not missing anything because you are getting the story again. While at the same time, if you have this game explains almost in a way the reason why you're doing a lot of the things that you were actually did in the old game, and explains it in a very logical way. And I'm finding that after my second, this second playthrough that I'm doing of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which by the way, I'm playing the updated PS5 version. I don't know what is it that they're calling it? Intergrade?
Intergrade is Intergrade.
Yeah. It's the updated PlayStation 5 version, which if you own the PlayStation 4 version of it, you'll get it as an upgrade unless you got the PS4 version of it for free from PSN, in which case you don't qualify for the upgrade, unfortunately. I'm gonna mention about performance that I feel like I touched on that a little bit last week when I talked about Final Fantasy VII Intermission, which I played and finished, and it was the game that got me back into like, well, okay, I need to go back to this world because I absolutely enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed Intermission for what it was. I knew full well what it was. It's meant to be, like a couple chapters. It's not meant to be like its own epicness, either. It's an expansion, and it felt like an expansion. It played like an expansion, like a very good expansion, mind you, but an expansion nevertheless, a very enjoyable one. So, but too short, because I wanted to play more, because Yuffie was awesome. But the thing I'm finding out of my second playthrough of this game is that it's the thing of rewatching a complex movie again, right? It's when you realize a lot of the things that didn't make sense, or maybe not that it didn't make sense, but that you weren't paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like shedding new light on them, like shining new light on it, and you're like, holy crap! So this is the reason why this happened, or this didn't happen, or why forgot what they're called, but it's basically the hooded ghost figures that appear, that are always trying to get you to go in a linear path, and every time their decisions are very confusing, because sometimes it looks like they're attacking you, other times it looks like they're defending you, and you're trying to like wonder, like, okay, whose side you're on, what's the deal with you, what's the deal with this enemy, and you're little by little realizing what it is. The first time you'll get your answer, but it'll still leave you with a lot of questions, and hopefully with excitement where things could lead. On this one, I'm actually even getting more excited because I am understanding a lot of the things that those figures are doing, and in the context of me understanding where things are going already, it's like new revelations. To me, it's like little reveals that are kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's the thing. You watch a movie that you like twice. The second time you're gonna find those details, and they're gonna make sense. Why? Because you already have the context of why is it that those things are happening. Mm-hmm. Before, you didn't know what was just happening. They were just happening, and you were thinking like, okay, that's weird. But there, there it is. I'll accept it for what it is. Now I'm like, oh man, no, that's awesome. I'm completely down on the story.
If I can ask,
yes, sir.
Should I revisit, sir? Not that I'm going to do it anytime soon, for the record. So let's not go crazy. But is it worth going down that road again? I mean, and I think it's been literally a year, right? 'Cause it came out February last year. It's been a year.
March, okay. I think. Yeah. It's a year, sir. You know me. I don't tend to replay games. Mm-hmm. You know that's just the thing. I mean, every now and then I might start a game that I like and start replaying it, but then realize like I already played this game, and sometimes I will even buy a different version and I'm thinking like, oh, because I want to play on PC or because I want to play on console this time, and I don't, right? It just run out of steam, right? I can't wait to be done with this goddamn podcast. I can go back to my story, Final Fantasy 7. It's like I'm playing it for the first time, even though I'm already, and sorry, that's an exaggeration because I prefer these moments that I share with you, of course. Let's be clear here.
Sir, while I
appreciate a little bit of hyperbole.
I appreciate you taking a moment to clarify that. So I completely understood when you said it. So it's all right.
It's just so you understand that without a doubt, I will tell you, yes, bro, you should replay the game. Because I know you enjoyed the soundtrack, which is another thing that I'm finding I am enjoying even more now. I know you enjoyed the soundtrack. I know you enjoyed the story. You were a little lukewarm on how things were, or it gave me the impression that you were not really super feeling, that ending, but.
So in retrospect, I think I may have came out a bit harder on the game than my intention was, because I did really did enjoy the game. The ending, which I won't go into detail, but I will, and I said this at the time, and I don't know, it just doesn't say anything about the ending, but I will just flag a little spoiler here, just say, hey, spoiler, and move up a little bit. But my thought behind it was the promise that was presented was a remake. And what we're getting technically is not. Now, is that a bad thing? Maybe not. But in retrospect, it's still something that sat with me going, oh, so we're really not getting a remake. We're getting a reimagining. Okay. And that realization of it when that happened, it was just like, I was of two minds. I was just like, well, I don't, I'm not completely against it, but if they would have sort of laid it, I mean, the name remake is what kind of almost like brands it like this is what it's going to be. This is a remake. You know what I mean? And so. You think of Resident Evil 2.
Throw away what happened on the PS2. We're gonna retell the tale. Here.
Exactly. And the way they do it, to be fair, was well done. You know what I mean? It drops breadcrumbs throughout the entire tale, and once you get to the revelation of that, it's like, oh, wow, that was actually for no offense, but for Square Enix, who are not the best at telling stories, I was like, this was actually formulated this reveal.
Indeed. It was. It felt like somehow they nailed the idea of if you're never played the game, here's the story, here's what happens, but if you have played it, don't worry, this is actually somehow a sequel. Even you have enough context to make it feel like a sequel. And I'm not saying that they nailed both aspects perfectly, because obviously what they give on one, they take away from the other, right? If you change too much, like in this case, we said open spoilers at this point, so
I guess,
don't worry too much about it. But if you take the Sephiroth fight, which it doesn't happen when you leave out of Midgar in the original game, and yet there is one on this version here. If you take that, that's a big deviation on the story, which takes a lot of the of the way the original one went.
Yeah.
So
no, seriously, so yes. So yeah, that I think that last fight is like, if you think of a timeline, and you see a timeline split, that's the split. So I think we may see some similarities, but I think we're on all new and they even say that. I think they even sort of I think they literally
they
say
don't
that
confirm
at the end.
it. They leave it open to interpretation. You can interpret that, but
I feel like that's what I feel like that's their intent, to say, guys, we've given you what you wanted, sort of. You know what I mean? But we're going to take some liberties from here going forward. I'm
going to take the other timeline. Actually, I think that after obviously I'm still in the middle. I'm still playing, replaying, and after beating the DLC, I feel like it's not so much as to abandon the timeline and create something entirely different from here on out. I think that will actually continue sticking very close to the storyline. Obviously they're not going to have the overworld as the overworld was. Like, you can forget about that. Yeah, sure. There's not going to be overworld no, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But
they may have some open areas, but they're not going to do the huge.
But they're going to still be linear in a sense. They're still going to feel very like the modern Final Fantasy games nowadays. So I feel like they're still going to be doing this. This parallelism, this two sequel verse, but also is the original story in parallel, and they're gonna diverge and give and take from. Well, it's gonna be less the original story and more the crazy timeline, and then some areas is gonna be less the crazy timeline, more the original story. So it's gonna be this give and take all the way to close to the end. I will say, because the thing that makes me think of that is because like, it gives a whole new meaning to the reunion, right? Almost. And we know that what the reunion originally entailed, but like the way that I see it here, it almost sounds like the reunion is more than just like getting back to Denova and whatever, all that crap that was from the original one, which I forgot it already. I feel like it's more like, at some point these timelines might end up intertwining, maybe. At some point there might be some decisions that happen on the original one, but it might give you the impression that you can change him here, or who knows, maybe you can. We all already know which one we're talking about. The fucking areas, of course. Yeah. In case I didn't spell that. Yeah. And who knows? I mean, that might be a great point of divergence, right? That might be where it could actually become crazy. Like, what if it's actually Cloud that dies this time, or some shit like that? Like, who knows?
Else, yeah. I'm just.
Well,
what if
I feel
Tifa? I mean, wouldn't that be crazy?
Yes. What if Tifa? What if Tifa? It'll have to be something that is as equally as powerful. So I feel like almost as powerful as losing your character is. It will be probably Cloud himself. Because remember, this other guy is somehow alive in this timeline. Zack, yeah. Zack is still alive in this timeline, where we know that he died before, and he doesn't seem to have been disturbed by the hooded timekeepers or whatever they call, whatever they're called. Like, he doesn't seem to be disturbed by them. Like, I don't remember seeing him fight him against, or I mean, just the mere fact that he survived that battle with Shinra at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's where that's where he would have died.
He would have died there, and he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking that I think we're still gonna get the Final Fantasy that people expect, which is, well, I went to Calm, and then I went to Nibelheim, and then I went to the Golden Saucer, and then, like, obviously that's not.
You're way off on the line, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Don't. I know you're.
I'm sorry, but it hurts a little bit, so I had to
freak out.
This is vein.
You tell me the order.
Vein growing in my forehead right here.
Yes. I know. You could probably say exactly where it's supposed to go next and whatever, but I forget. I'm saying names. All right, so give me credit at least. I remember those.
True that.
So just like, you're gonna get to those areas. I mean, who knows? You there might be some new locations, maybe, but I doubt it, because I feel like the game already have enough content.
I'm glad that they
enough to give you. Yeah.
I'm glad that I haven't played not intermission. I haven't played the intermission, but I will. But I know that they include Fort Condor in that, and I felt like Fort Condor was such a weird, off the wall thing in the main story, and I'm glad that they just kept it off on this thing. I don't know if it's going to be a big. You have to tell me yay or nay. But I'm like, yeah, no one wants to go there in the main story. You know what I mean? Let's just ignore it. Let's just ignore it. It wasn't there. It doesn't exist. We're okay with it. And I've played the original Final Fantasy. I mean, from beginning to the end, several times.
You remember the order of the towns you hit.
Yeah. So that was actually the cool thing that I saw in for intermission. Where I was like, oh yes, that means we don't have to talk about this later on. Okay, yeah, we can do this. Let's do it.
Boom! Here's my $20.
Yeah, done. Yeah,
purchase.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I am enjoying. I'm enjoying the game. I'm fully back. I will recommend you pick it up again. And honestly, you should try it out also, because it feels very good to play now at 60. The game has its resolution mode and its performance mode. You barely lose anything on the performance mode.
Do they have a performance RT?
No, they don't. They don't. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Come on, Square.
I didn't expect it. Yeah, I mean, it was Square, so I didn't think they were gonna
that shit out, man.
I mean, they barely got the doors working. All right, so they're not
it
ready.
Took the
for
power
RT.
of the PlayStation 5 to make those doors that work.
Another couple of console generations, and they're gonna be ready for RT, sir. So. Ray tracing is what we're talking about, guys.
Come on, audience, sort your shit out too.
Did you read the manual?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the game has this 4K mode, and I know that mode it's going to be useful. So, you like taking pictures, I know you do. Don't even. So it has a photo mode now that you can do. It's not going to be as grandeur and amazing as the Samurai one is. What's the game?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, thank you. As the Ghost of Tsushima photo mode, it's not that. It's just something simple, like a very basic take a photo. But you're gonna bump the resolution to 4K, and you're gonna take photos because that's what you do, bro. But
I feel like I'm being attacked here.
No. This is it's not an attack. It's just, and I hope I want those. I need screensaver wallpapers. So you have an artistic hand for that kind of stuff. So, so the game has a photo mode, but it's on the performance mode that the game really shines, because obviously the resolution mode is 4K and all, and it looks really nice. And if you're okay with playing the same way that it played on PlayStation 4, but with better graphics, that by all means, knock yourself out. But playing this game at 60 frames per second, it just feels so much better. It feels like the fighting, the traversal, like everything, it feels so much, smoother, and like I've always said, high frame rate improves gameplay. Like, it does improve gameplay. And that's one of the reasons why I would like for you to at least, do the upgrade, try it out. I can see yourself getting hooked on it again. Maybe after you pass the first mission, because you played the first mission already so many times that it's like, okay, you already know.
Yeah, but it's still, it was still pretty fun. So.
It'll still be, it's still pretty fun, and it's still looks super, super good. But man, I am enjoying this game a lot. I'm gonna stop talking about it because, it's the only game that I've been playing, and that should tell you, when that shit grabs you. It's no, but in all seriousness, whenever you're finished with whatever is it that you're doing, playing now, you should try, intermission and get that out of the way. If anything, so you can have the experience. Playing with Yuffie was very fun.
Okay.
And I'm also finding out that it kind of has taught me how to play better, because I was thinking, this is my second playthrough. I'm gonna play with classic mode just to get the feel, like, just to make it feel like different. But then I was like, no, fuck that. I want to play the way that was meant to be played, and the way that I played the Yuffie DLC. And I was realizing that I wasn't using a lot of the shortcuts, like the shortcuts to activate your special attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't using that. I was all the way through the game, the first playthrough, I was selecting it from the menu. Which is this feels so much more intuitive now. And I know that option was there. I know they didn't just add that, where you press the R1 and then, like, you select, circle does this, square does this, X does that. So, okay, that's it. About Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a great game. 5 out of 5, no doubt. This version especially is 5 out of 5. It is. What do we say? 5 is. It's outstanding, phenomenal,
outstanding,
perfect, goddess-like. Yeah, it's a goddess-like game. One of those games where I'll still think about when I think about my favorite games of all time, because I remember those, because those are usually the ones that I like to replay, and I enjoyed the music. I mean, I was listening to the fucking soundtrack while I was, doing the dishes before we started the podcast. So
you had me listening. You had sent me something, and I ended up listening to a lot of the soundtrack, and I was just I started looking up, literally looking up like that.
Amazon has it. Amazon has the entire.
A vinyl, my friend. Vinyl. I was just like, yes. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this shit right.
Shit.
And
wow,
that shit's not cheap, my friend. Let me just in case you were wondering, that's just definitely not fucking cheap.
It's funny because in the game you are collecting like vinyls of songs, and now you're actually doing it in real life for the game. Kind of meta. Yeah. I think I sent you that that very I love this rendition of let the battles begin, which is it's the fighting song of it's the fighting theme of Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. It's that. So and that it's very it has that fanfare and very Obviously, that you call it bombastic.
Bombastic.
I fucking love the fact that this game puts in an area where you do not expect, because it's an area where you're supposed to be helping some children that got lost or something like that, and then it throws you into this rescue mission, and they start playing that rendition, of that song, but in a very low key version of it, which is just friggin' delicious. It is so well done. I love it. And I realize it's short. It's just that, but someone posted this version. I think it's called it's called Let the Battles Begin Hideout, because it's meant for the hideout, or the kids hideout version of it. And he posted an extended 15-minute version on YouTube. And I commented thank you, sir, for this.
May all your children be born
masterfully made. It's this could be the soundtrack of me doing stuff around the house. Everything will get done. Okay. Yeah. No more. We're done with the Final Fantasy, because I was not even a big fan of it. All right, I was a hater when it was announced. All right, so enough of this. That's not true. I watch a lot of E3, but I guess we're gonna leave that for its own segment. So the last thing I'm gonna say is that I watch a new show on Disney Plus because I'm a masochist. No, that's not true either.
I mean, I didn't have, it's up for debate.
Well, I'm just saying, because after the experience of, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, our first 0 out of 5 or 1 out of 5, I started watching Loki, the series, and it's not, I can't sit down and just watch episode after episode after episode, because it started last week, and this week they just played episode, the second episode of the season. So you're gonna have to wait. It's gonna be every Wednesday is when they're gonna release a new episode. It's kind of weird on Wednesday, but whatever. And that's that. Now, my fellow co-host here hasn't seen it, so I can't. And even if he has, we wouldn't speak openly about spoilers. Unlike some fucking stupid publications out there, rhymes with Polygon, which are openly putting big spoilers of it in their headlines. It's like they don't care. Fuck Polygon. Anyway, about Loki. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Tune in this podcast and find out.
Wow.
No. I'll tell you. Because we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. This is not hype, but it's not hate. It's neither of the H's. So I'm just confused. The reason I'm confused is because, let's make an exercise. Let's do an exercise, okay. Mad Dog, if you will, right?
Sure.
Think about. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. You listeners, you could follow along if you like. Take the MCU as you know it, as it started, as the stories were told, as the different movies came about and they make you feel different ways. There were some movies that may have not hit the mark, but there was some movies that hit the mark, and some movies hit the mark deep. And it was like a bunch of stories told with a main storyline kind of like intertwining all together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Very beautifully done. It was, I mean, I think I would say, in my humble opinion, that they succeeded on what they were trying to do. You know, at the end of it, once we saw the end game, it was like, okay, well done. You made me care about characters that I didn't think I was going to end up caring, you know?
Yeah.
And think about all the effort that went into that, all the stories, the intricacies. You're going to take them, that thought that you have, and you're going to put it in a little mental box. All of it. Just put all the movies into that little mental box. All right. Can you do that?
Sure.
You're doing it in your mind. All right. And you have a box about one of the most precious things that the hero movies have achieved, right? It's like this whole expansive, very imaginative universe. Okay, now take that box and put it aside on the table. Right? You done that?
I'm doing it. Okay.
Now grab a fucking hammer and smash that shit to the ground until it pulverizes, until it disappears, until it means nothing. All right? Because that's exactly what this series does to this universe.
Nice.
And you're either going to absolutely get offended in a way that is like, nah, fuck you. This is a major disrespect upon all the lore that they have tried to build on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're gonna be like, oh, this is just too fucking absurd. I need to sit down and watch this because I need to see what happens next. This is fun in a very stupid way. I am enjoying this, you know. Certainly better than the feelings I had after watching the first couple of episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know, when it just felt like very like, okay, well, this is just a series, you know. I don't know what to make of this. And I won't say, you know, much because I don't want to hype it to where you'll be like, oh shit, this is going to be something that defies that. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm being very on the surface of it, to be honest with you. You have to watch it and interpret it what you will. And then when you watch it, you're going to call me. Not going to text me. You're going to actually call me and you're going to tell me your feelings because I need to know what goes through your head when you see this. And it'll probably be nothing. It's probably going to be like, well, yeah, you know, what are they going to do? Of course they're going to do that. It's a TV series, you know, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I need to I know that I have my feelings. My wife has her feelings about it. We're both fucking enjoying it. We're both taking it for what it is.
Where's she at? That's cool. Okay.
She is, she is. I would say she is very into it. Actually, she likes it. She has theories of her own, which is like freaking adorable to watch her talk about it because it's like I never knew that this levels of nerdiness could actually seep through her subconscious and be blurted out. But in a way, it's like adorable. It's like it makes like, wow, I actually didn't think of that. That's awesome. That's true. So if there was one word to describe it, is this series is absurd. Okay. It is totally absurd. Take it for what it, for what you will. I think it needs to be watched, if anything, so that you know where these people stand right now in the face of all these properties and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay. I definitely want to watch it. At no point I didn't have the experience you had with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did enjoy what it was trying to do. I do recognize there was some cringy moments, but in the end, when you see it's just 6 episodes and you have the 2 main actors, Falcon and Winter Soldier, where the budget is, which is why the pilot episode was probably the better of everything, because you see all the special effects all up front, and then very seldomly throughout after that, until the very end. And even then you go, oh, we ran out of money, so I get it. I get that, but I still appreciated it. And of course I really, really dug WandaVision. So yeah, I have
WandaVision, you can see the quality, the where the money went, and Falcon, they might have just spent a lot of it in the pilot. Over here, I feel like they're saving it. I feel like they're saving it a little bit. That might not be a bad thing.
No,
that might actually be a good thing. But
not at all. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, like even Wanda, she will be in the next film with Doctor Strange.
With Doctor Strange, yeah.
So these are not meant to be those big epic moments. These are meant to be the filler in between. So when I look at it that way, my expectations for the series is always going to be sort of in check. I was just taken aback by WandaVision because I was just like, I had low expectations for that one. Just because I didn't know what the hell they were doing. You know what I mean? And when I saw what they did and then it kind of explained this, I was like, okay, respect. Right. I see what you did here. Respect. But anyway, so my point is to say Loki's definitely on the map to watch. That was never the case. It's just I don't like doing the week to week thing. It's just too much.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I did that with
just do a couple, just the first two, and that's it.
I will do the first one. I'll do the first
one for me.
Yeah, I will do the first. I just couldn't this week, but I definitely will. That's for sure. So.
You don't want to be, and again, because I feel like a lot of places are being so willy-nilly about spoilers. Like you don't want to have, not that there's anything like mind blowing either. Like again, I'm not trying to sell you the thing. I just need to know how you feel
about your twist,
opinion. Yeah. I respect your opinion.
Yeah. It's very similar. I don't know, but from what it sounds like, it's very similar to the events of Winter Soldier in the sense that suddenly threw everything on its head. And now you're like, wait, so Hydra's still here? They've been here all this time and basically are in control of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? You know what I mean? And that was,
oh boy,
amazing. You know what I mean? So
buckle up there.
Okay. All right, sir. Well done, sir. Well done.
That's it. That's all.
I think you saw something else, my friend. It's called Somewhere Up in the High Area.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, shit, how can I forget?
I don't know. And I'm actually a little bit perturbed now.
Crazy. So I watched Office Space again.
Oh, for the love.
That movie's a 4.5 out of 5. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to mention I also watched In the Heights.
Oh
but
my
Office
God.
Space, bro.
Good to know that you watched In the Heights. And moving on, no.
That's one I'm gonna let you talk about that one because obviously you're gonna be a lot more eloquent. I
mentioned it last week. I had seen it last week, so.
Oh shit, you did, right?
Oh,
okay. So I guess it's all me then. That's right. You did watch it last week, and then I was like, well, I need to watch it because
for the record, I am already on my 4th time. So go ahead.
I think you like the Lin-Manuel productions. I feel like they're very near and dear to you. I enjoyed it a lot. I think that it goes without saying, Lin-Manuel and the cast, and the crew and everything, they create a very beautiful and cemented on realistic way of explaining the struggles that Latinos go through their everyday life, right? Especially focusing on the ones that live in that area. And it seems like I didn't know this, but it was set in modern times. This is not a history piece. This is actually meant to be like, hey, no, this is actually the today. Because at first I was thrown off because I was like, especially when they started talking about the blackout, they started counting down the blackout. And I was thinking like, oh, maybe this is in the 90s, Ronaldo was there, and all that stuff.
There was a blackout, for the record, in 2003. And I don't know if that's what they were using here.
I don't think so, because people had like iPhones and stuff like that, and this is like
no. But for definitely, because there was no blackout recently. But keep in mind that the Broadway play was something that he wrote a while back.
Oh, right, true. Yes,
so it's something that he could have been just pulling from.
Yes, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Yes. I'll definitely see that. The cast was phenomenal. A lot of faces that I've seen from the original, Hamilton play, and including the protagonist,
who's Navi.
Who's Navi,
which is a great name, and I love
it's talking about where it came from, basically, which is fantastic, and it makes perfect sense in the whle.
That sounds like everyone's dad. Everyone's dad would do that for sure.
Yes, of course. Well, of course. The movie had. It's not a movie that is meant to bring up a lot of the, when I say struggles, I don't mean in the very dramatic sense. Like there's certainly moments that are, beautiful or sad, or they can be, some conflict, but there's nothing major. There's no drama. There's nothing. It's not like there's no major drama, I should say. Nothing feels like that. Of course, it's almost written like a feel good musical. Actually, being a musical that it is, it's almost like a celebration of our culture, in a way, and an explanation at the same time of a lot of the things that we go through, and a lot of and things that we have to deal with when it comes to like prejudice, for example, and the day-to-day life. So that part I really, really enjoyed. I pretty much enjoyed everything on it. The music, the selection of music was phenomenal. This is like, oh, well, shit. Well, I guess I'm going to have to buy the soundtrack also, put it right there to the next to the Hamilton soundtrack, because it is, because it is that good. Of course, very, Latino sound. So obviously, your mileage may vary.
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you, lady? Are you needing something? I got my wife going through my drawers over here.
Hello, Mrs. Santos.
They say hi. No, that's okay. You can still do. I mean, she brought me coffee, like I don't know where, without me, without me saying anything.
Distract you while she goes into the drawers.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what she's distracting me with coffee while she goes through the drawers. You're not gonna find anything. I'm innocent. You got nothing. I love you.
That's great. That is great.
So in the Heights, man, it was a movie that it had its like my wife. It's funny because my wife was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the actual movie already. She was like, "Can you get me my box of tissues? I feel like this movie is gonna make me cry."
Really? Because of the music? Yeah, because of the music. Yeah, she does that music.
The music, but I think it's more like there is a lot. She saw a lot on that movie that that she could relate.
Of
actually,
course, yeah,
that
absolutely.
she related, and she lived in New York. At one point, and if not her, she could see like her mom, for example, and a lot of that thing, it touches, it's deep and it's beautiful. In my case, it was the Cuban abuelita. And the way, the way she talks, the way, the things that she believes, the way she takes care of everyone, like if everyone were her children. It's like, I've known people in my life that have been like that, that saint, that beautiful person. Like I know people like that. And I've known of the, people that have had their, their dreams, they're doing that hustle to get to that, to what they want in their life. Other thing, it was just beautifully told. And if I feel like if you're looking for more than that, if you're looking for like, well, where's the dramatic moment? Where's the part that's going to make you feel like, concerned or sad or mad or anything like that? Like, you're not going to get that here because it's not that type of movie, and
musicals aren't, though. And that's the beauty of musicals. It's a movie that says things that's normally kept unsaid in a regular film. You know what I mean? It's almost as if your thoughts are being displayed in song.
Yes.
So because of that,
you're singing them.
Exactly. Yeah. And half the time, that's what they're doing. Like, just at the very beginning when he's singing as he's opened up the store, it's like he's obviously not talking to himself. He's just thinking these things. You know what I mean? So that's just what musicals are, and it's not an easy thing for a lot of people to swallow because it's just not what everyone's into. You know what I mean? But if you can put that aside and just kind of focus on what's being said as opposed to how it's being said, there's a lot there. And and I mentioned last week, I won't say it again, but it was while I wasn't raised in Washington Heights. Washington Heights is has a lot of similarities to many of the little barrios in the Bronx, which are literally within walking distance. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's that far. You know what I mean? And so I get it. It felt like I wasn't sure too, by the way. I wasn't sure if she was going to dig it, Judy, because I know I was like, I know this is a musical. This is a traditional musical. You know what I mean? This is not this is not Hamilton. This is a traditional. Hey, we're in the middle of the street and we're going to break out into song. But because we're Latino, we're also going to break out into dance. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, and some people just look at it and go, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And it's like, I get it, but
I was thinking more in the sense that like Hamilton, right? Based obviously on a history, obviously with taking a lot of liberties with history, but still based on a character that existed, a long time ago.
The majority is based on truth.
And how that brought those moments. It did have those moments of the betrayal, for example, or the sadness of losing someone. It had a lot more of those moments. Not everything that happened on it was just a celebration for the celebration's sake, which over here, I felt like it was a little bit lighter on that. But then again, also, the tone was very different, here. Even the way that it got presented. This is not a musical on a stage. the way it was presented on this movie, this is actually a movie, which, like you said, at some point they'll be crossing the street and let's break off into song. Why not?
Because that's just the world we live in.
And if you don't like it,
there's some really cool there's some really cool aspects of it, because I started learning about how they made the film. First off, it was ridiculously hard to get the film made. So I feel like
filming during the pandemic, even
this was supposed to come out during the pandemic, and it did not. It was already filmed. Right. It was filmed back in 2019. The issue is that I think it was I can't think of the movie company, and I don't want to name the wrong one, but there were two movie companies. I want to say the Weinstein was one of them. That it was originally pitched to them, and they wanted to do, okay, we're going to do this, but we're going to get this artist, we're going to get this artist. And it was like, no, we don't want all these faces, because these faces take away from what we're trying to say. We want to keep it simple and have people you may not have seen, you know what I mean? As much as we know the actor who plays Usnavi, most people don't, you know what I mean? Even those who've watched Hamilton may not even recognize it, they may not even put two and two together.
My wife didn't.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's not uncommon. So it's not like it's not like I would blame her or anything like that. It's just like, no, it's that's how unknown they are. And they turned it down. They just kept getting turned down, and then eventually they worked some sort of deal with Warner Brothers, and then here we are. But it was on top of that it was, they could have done stage, and they said, and John Chu, which is the director, said no. We're going to do this. We're going to do this in Washington Heights. And this was filmed in Washington Heights. That's not easy to do. You know what I mean? The slight spoilers here, but there's a couple scenes in the train area. That wasn't a set. That was filmed in a train station. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to understand that trains pass by pretty frequently in New York. You know what I mean? So it's amazing. It was like literally, like, John Chu was like, okay, what is the hardest way this can be done? And we're going to go with that hardest way. You know what I'm saying? That's the way we're going, guys.
Let's do it that way.
And lastly, real quick, I just, because I have so many, me, I have this bad habit of falling down rabbit hole. But
break it home.
The song Carnival del Barrio, right? That particular segment was filmed in one day, and it had to be filmed in one day. There was an option. They had it on the schedule, and they said, okay, we're only going to be, because remember, it's the only number where everyone is there. Everyone, except for Doña Claudia, everyone is there. So as you know, with actors, they have other stuff, engagements that they have to do. So, you film around that. You go, okay, well, we only need you for this one. So we'll get you here, whatever. This, everyone needed to be together. And so it was down to one day. And it was like, they needed to do it that day. And you look at it, and it is spectacular. It's like, I don't know how they did it, but man, did it. That's one of my favorites, by the way. Carnaval del Barrio is one of my favorite songs.
A lot of people's favorite also, yes.
Yeah, that one alongside Doña Claudia's Paciencia y Fe. Paciencia y Fe is, dude, it breaks me every time, bro. Breaks me every freaking time. And let me tell you, it is probably, like, it's one of those, like, I don't mind listening to it audio wise, but the way it's done in this film, I'm like, that should be a fucking music video, because it's like, you need all those images that she's going through I'm like, man, this is so good. Anyway, I digress.
See, mine was Piragua.
You laugh, but I have been like humming that in the last couple days, like the last 24 hours.
It's not. It'll be impossible not to. Come on,
it's so good. Did you stay through the credits? So I assume you did, because you've learned your lesson. Okay, good.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. Yeah, the lesson that Marvel has taught us, all of us in grade.
Well, there has been a few people who have not learned that lesson, and I told them, "What did you think of the thing?" And they go, "What? No, what? I didn't see that." I'm like,
God damn
amateurs.
Amateurs, right?
Oh my goodness.
Very, very, very good.
So anyway, yeah. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, sir.
No, for some reason I was thinking that it was your part.
Well, I mean, truthfully, I really haven't done, which is why I just let you indulge, sir, because I was like, I really don't have much going on. I've watched Into the Heights now, probably, like, that's not even a joke. It's probably been 4 times, and I have been listening to the soundtrack.
I know it's not a joke because you did it for Hamilton.
No, Hamilton, I was more, dude. At this point, it was already a good 10 after a week. You know what I mean? Hamilton was ridiculous. Wow. Hamilton was playing. We weren't even in the freaking room. It was just like, just leave it on. We'll come back to it.
Yes.
You know, we walk into the living room, sit down. Oh wait, I gotta go do this. We go into the room and whatever. But it was always playing. Anyway, no, I still, again, it's and I think you can agree with me now that you've seen it. It's like one of those things, like, it's not something yes, it's a musical, but that's about the only similarity there is. It's so hard to compare it to Hamilton because they are of 2 different things.
Yes.
And
they are
and I feel like I also need to just kind of throw out there. I know there has been some backlash regarding, not using actors of a darker color and all that stuff, and I understand that, and I understand that that's a concern, but it's one of those things where I'm almost torn because I'm almost like, yeah, but it also didn't happen. It did almost, I should say, it almost did not happen. Like, this was like, and not saying that having any actors of color would have lessened those chances or made them greater in any way. I'm just saying, it's like, at some point you're like, well, maybe they weren't even paying attention to that. Maybe at some point they were just going, hey, we just want to get it done. We want to get this movie about Latinos and have that the forefront of everything out in front. You know what I mean? I think there's something to be said in some connections within the movie. Like, for instance, the character of Nina, she's playing Boricua. Her father's Jimmy Smits, but she's not Boricua. She's Dominican. The same thing with Usnavi. Usnavi is playing a Dominican. He's not. He is Puerto Rican. Same thing with his cousin Sonny. He's not. He's Puerto Rican, but he's playing Dominican. And it's one of those things like, was this done on purpose, or was this, hey, is this like an underlying thing? Because if there's one thing I've always known is being Puerto Rican, we enjoy certain freedoms that Dominicans do not. And sometimes that gets forgotten. And it was an interesting little twist to see that difference in the film where, I know because I'm again, rabbit hole. So I kind of know about the actors a little bit. And it's just like, okay, well, yeah. And it's like, man, I wonder if they did that on purpose. I wonder if they said, hey, this is almost a moment to say, just take a moment and in this film, walk in my shoes. You know what I mean? And see how it feels, and it's got so much, but it's not going to have the same appeal as Hamilton. And I think there's been a lot of interesting talk about, it's not making the money. And it's like, yeah, that audience was already smaller than him. I could have told you that, which is why, did anybody know about In the Heights before Hamilton? You know what I mean? And that's been on Broadway for forever. So much so that there's like school plays in the inner cities that do In the Heights. But does anybody know about that? No. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's that's a thing for a while. But it's not Hamilton. Hamilton is completely different. So I had no doubts that it was not going to be as big as Hamilton was. But at the same time, I think they almost overdid what they had to do. There's a lot of visual tricks and stuff in this film where even I'm just like, I don't know how they did it. The scene with on the fire escape, I'm just I've seen it a few times. I'm going, I still don't know how they did.
Oh, come on, Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo did that shit. And
did they? Did it look that good though?
And yes, because you actually see. Have you ever seen the making of? There is a scene where it actually shows in the making of, and yes, that's right. I watched the making of Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Not only to see the movie, but you also went in depth. Okay,
it was that he's dancing in a room, right? In the room, he's going to the ceiling. Well, that's actually like a machine that is like really moving that room, and somehow he's just walking and breakdancing on it, and crazy. That's like a crazy amount of money for that scene. That was in the 80s.
Yeah, that has been done. 2001 A Space Odyssey also did something similar when he's jogging in the thing, and it's literally this huge thing that's spinning as he's jogging. No, I get that, but it's just the whole with outside and at no point that I go,
that's CG.
The sun was CG because believe it or not, a lot of the film was not sunny. Oh, by the way, the pool scenes, the whole day that they filmed or the time that they were filming the pool, it was cold. It was not summertime. So it was like, damn, I feel bad for everyone getting wet right now.
For real.
But anyway, I'm not gonna spend more time on this. I'm just gonna say that I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think everyone should definitely watch it. Even if you don't feel that it's something that's gonna be for you, it's still just one of the things that I just want everybody to experience it. You know what I mean? And I think it's funny because I've never felt that representation is that important, and then here it is. And I'm going, man, I was an idiot. Yes, this is something important. You know what I mean? Why was I never, whatever? And I'm just like, yes, I want more. And you know what it is? I thought about it. It's like I thought about the very last film that had a predominantly Latino cast that I watched that was of any consequence. And it was I Like It Like That, which was in the 90s.
Wow.
And it was not very consequential. You know what I mean? I still love it because it's just one of my I don't know, guilty pleasures, but I don't know if you've even heard that movie, but it's I Like It Like That. I'm sure you heard the song.
I Like It Like That. Yeah. And I've heard the song also.
Yeah. So that was the last one. And I was like, that one there again took me back to that was literally in the Bronx. It was literally in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but anyway, that's why I feel like it's just one of those things. It's a world that nobody knows, and it's like, hey, it exists, and there are millions of people there. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Anyway, moving on. I've only played 2 things. I did finish Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and this is a great fucking game. It is way better than I was even expecting, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it looks like a fucking moving Pixar movie. Although that helps. It is so much fun. I literally considered it a Doom light. That's even a thing.
Wow.
Because you go into a room and you get into an area and you get, attacked by a bunch of people and you're running around and you're running out of ammo. So you got to make sure you take people out and get your ammo crates and, what am I going to use here? You switch to another weapon. It's got that element, but not Doom. Obviously, Doom obviously is its own beast, but it's just like I said, this is a very light. And it's like, man, I don't remember getting that or seeing that in the 2016 remake. And here I'm
surprised.
It didn't. I didn't finish the 2016 remake. I probably got a good 10 hours in. I was like, I'm good. I can't with this.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised that this character that it's almost like I don't want to call it's a game because it's not a game for kids, quote unquote, but it is obviously a game that will it will attract family. Yeah. It's a family fun or whatever. But I did not expect it to be that level of difficult. Or is it difficult when you say
no? I when I say Doom like, I mean the structure. It's not hard. Okay. I think I died a handful of times, and usually because I fell. It was because I fell through a crack or something like that. It was like, oh, okay, so there's nothing back there. Good to know. But other than that, I really didn't die in battle. So it's not like that. And it doesn't matter if you honestly, there are so many accessibility options in this. It's absolutely it is like Last of Us levels of wow, this is crazy. The way you can alter everything. There's puzzles in it, and you can literally pause, and when you pause it says skip puzzle. And you skip puzzle. It's like, okay, do you want to break your head over this? Sure, by all means. Oh, you don't want to? Okay, then just skip it. Move to the next thing. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And, you can change stuff to make things a little bit easier to see. Sometimes because of the world being so realistic, those bolts, that you always get whenever you destroy stuff.
Yeah.
They're hard to see. So you have a way of changing it into a little bit different color, so you can see it in the back. Oh, there's a bunch of bolts over there that I fucking left. Let me go grab them. Because they don't just automatically fly to you. You have to go to them. So, but no, the Doom link is really just you walk into an area, a bunch of enemies come out, and you're having to dodge bullets, dodge characters, and switch weapons and get ammo, because you'll run out of ammo on a particular gun that you're using that you like. But now now you have to rush to the other side of the arena area to get that crate because it's over there. The rifts are not as big as the thing I thought it was going to be, and I don't know if I don't want to say that goes like a knock against it or anything like that. Because there are moments. There's some really cool moments. When you open up one rift and you're standing in what is clearly one level, and you just walk through, you can see the other side, and as you're walking through, you can see everything around you. You're like, oh shit, and it's like an entire different level, and you're like, damn.
Are they scripted?
Huh?
Are they scripted? Like, are they? Well, this is the area where I'm supposed to use them.
They are scripted when you're using them in a battle area, because you're using it to get around the level faster. Right. The area faster, like especially I need to go to that side, and that's where the crates are. Oh, hey, there's a rift over there, and you just jumped over. Yeah. But there are some like secret rooms is what it is. So like, and normally you play the game and you wander into a secret room, and in this secret room you can find some hidden armor. So now these rooms are behind these rifts, and when you open them up, it's a room. But when you walk through it, it's a completely different area. You know what I mean? It's just like, there are some scripted moments that happen, which is actually kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. But you're still controlling it. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. You jump into, you seamlessly fall through something, and you end up in an area. You shoot up here real quick, and you get knocked out, and it throws you through another rift, and now you're falling into another area, and you're like, oh, damn. And it's seamless in the sense that there's no loading. It's just boom, 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 boom. You're there. Nice. It doesn't happen as often, I guess, as people probably like, in the sense, but it still happens enough to make it fun. A lot of the planets you go to are very vast and completely different, and just immaculately designed. It's like, man, this is some really good stuff. It is. It looks beautiful. It is hands down one of the prettiest games I've seen. Period. You know what I mean? And I have fun with it, dude. It's straight up. It's a 4.0. This is a great game. This is a great freaking game. Everyone, if you have a fucking PlayStation 5, you should be playing this. This is what you wait. What are you? Oh wait, I have a PlayStation 5. This is it's one of the things where you're like, if you don't, it's like, why do you have PlayStation 5 then? You know what I mean? Because everything else is available on PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, this is like I feel like I could answer that question with, to play all my PlayStation 4 library the way I wanted to play it. Fair enough. I feel like that's my legitimate answer, to be honest with you. And the reality is, that's going to be everybody's answer, because that's just the way it is going forward after this bringing the title. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So yeah, anyway, I beat that. Really good. Really recommend. And then, of course, I jump back into Mass Effect, and I am knee deep into Mass Effect 2 now, which is easily so much better. It's like, man. First of all, you tricked me, because I sent you a screenshot of the game I was playing, and then you sent me 2 videos of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was excited for a second. I was like, oh, you played also? That's awesome. You're replaying also? And you lied. I did not lie, because I never responded. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. I responded. I'm like, you playing also? And then you sent me a fucking happy face, and now like, so is that a yes? Like, what the fuck? I didn't say yes. No, I had, when you had sent me that, I started pulling up like this playlist that I have of it's like 100, basically all the songs in the remake soundtrack, and whoever made the playlist basically did gameplay in the area that particular song plays. So as you playing the
So
playlist,
that was not even you?
That was not me. No, that was YouTube.
But it looked like your TV, and you set up and everything.
Well, yeah, I was watching it on YouTube on my TV. Yeah.
You bastard! I hate you. I hate your face. For you have a lying face, sir. Oh my god! I was like here, like fucking nerding out, like, oh shit, we're playing the same game.
No, that's why. Hello, I figured I'd let that go early when I said, so should I really revisit this game? Because I didn't. I have not, and that doesn't mean I don't want to. I mean, I do want to do Intergrade. Or intermission or whatever the fuck it's called, but it's like it's one of those things where it's just that's the thing. I know it's going to probably pull me back into the game, especially if intermission doesn't even fucking explain shit. It's like, okay, well, if not going to explain shit, I'm probably going to play the main game again. You know what I mean?
It doesn't explain shit.
But I finished Ratchet and Clank, and to be fair, I finished Ratchet and Clank and started a whole new file and got fairly far into the file.
No, dude, like, you gotta continue. I just read an article that stated that game has probably one of the better new game pluses there are.
Yeah.
Because you can crank your weapons now to like level 10 or some shit like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
that's awesome.
It is. Yeah, I'm telling you, the game is. I know I'm moving to master, but the game is. It is all that. Insomniac is one of the best best developers, and they're proving that. If you really think about it, the last 3 major titles have been out of the park. You have Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and this. And it's like, and that they're working on, I think that the rumor is they're working on another Resistance, and I can't wait because I loved Resistance 3. I love the Resistance series, but Resistance 3 I think was so underrated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the route that I wanted to take, though. I'd rather get another Spider-Man.
My friend, you are getting another Spider-Man.
Yay!
Regardless of what they do with freaking.
I am happy again.
Yeah, they're gonna freaking give you a
Resistance though. I don't know if Resistance had the same.
I would argue the first Resistance was probably the must play when you had a PlayStation 2.
Oh no, they were great. I mean? Don't get me wrong, they were great for the era. But I'm saying like now, if after the things that you've done, you're coming in with a first person shooter. It feels like
a step back.
I don't know. Step back almost. Yeah.
I mean, it depends. It depends on what they do. If they can make it a little bit more grittier, you know what I mean, and maybe not so
more like crazier. I would like to see they implement some like really new.
They can try to do the whole fuse thing that they try to do that got killed into Overstrike, or maybe the other way around. I can't remember what it was.
God, no. Never mind.
EA. But anyway, Mass Effect 2. Playing it again, loving it. I'm a little bit like worried at the moment because I'm going, all right, so who I'm going to fucking romance, because I know Liara is not going to be one of the characters I can because she's off doing her Shadow Broker thing. Spoilers. And so
because the romance her can you? I think that. I mean,
I don't think so, bro. Because she's not part of your team. She doesn't join you in the missions or anything like that. She's not part of your team. And I remember
she in 3 though.
She is in 3. She comes back in 3. Yeah, she comes back in 3, but she's not in part 2. I mean, she is in part 2, but she's not like that available in part 2.
She's not available.
No, man, because it's been 2 years since you got burnt to a crisp, and then they fucking rebuilt you. So she's off. She was off doing her own thing.
So she was like, "Oh, forget you," and now you gotta do the same thing to her. You gotta be like, "Well, forget you." Then
I did the first time I played this. I was like, "Oh, fine." Then Garrus it is. Fuck it.
I'm gonna.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I forget that you played the
Femshep. Yeah. But honestly, now I'm like, yeah, Garrus is too alien. I'm probably gonna do.
Really? What gave it away?
Just I don't know.
The fact that he has fucking whiskers.
Yeah, the weird roach thing he has going. But anyway,
that's alienist.
Yeah. So no. What's her name? This is like assistant.
Not Jack, because Jack was the one I romanced.
No, if I remember correctly, I think Jack is she's straight. She will only go for a male ship. I don't think she'll go for a female ship.
Yeah.
If I remember this correctly.
Well, I bet they patched that nowadays.
That'd be great.
That
would be the way to go. Yeah. But no,
sorry.
I'm looking at what is, I don't know, remember her name now because she said it so quickly, but she's like, you remember the console?
No, ass lady. Is she not?
No.
Ass lady? No.
Miranda. You talking about Miranda?
Miranda, yeah.
No. I think if I remember correctly too, I think she was also straight. Like she was strictly male ship.
Hey, fuck, dude, you killed your only romance chance that you had.
No, but there was this. What is her name? Dear Lord! But she basically, you know how you have the map when you step up to the thing, you have this map that you can pick the planet you're going to.
Oh yeah,
This like assistant that's like to the left, to the right of you at all times. You know, she wasn't there in part one, and when I see her in part two, I'm going, I remember you. Okay, yeah, I forgot you were hanging out here all the time. Okay, and so now I'm like, okay, and she's getting flirty. I was like, okay, all right, I'm feeling you a little bit here. All right, we'll put a pin in this and see how we do a few planets down
at
the
that
road.
point. I feel like you just have to commit, because you can't be like fucking what's her name, Liara, and then Map Lady, and then on the third one you go for, what's the name of the alien dude? The sniper.
The alien? Oh, you know about Garrus?
No, the other one.
The sniper in part 3? I don't remember part 3.
You don't remember part 3? Oh man, he was such a cool character. Oh, maybe he's here.
Is he green? Is he like
yes.
I need to talk about. Yeah. I don't think he's available in here. Because he wasn't an option for, if I remember correctly, he wasn't an option for FemShep in part 2. I remember having to do homework. I don't know why. When I first played Mass Effect 2, I was like, okay, these are important decisions. So I got to make sure.
Family planning.
Yeah. So I got to make sure we're going to do this right. You know, my original trip was Liara in part 1, which is the comic book version, and Garrus in part 2, and then we rekindled Liara in part 3. That was my first time I played it.
See, I was like, nope, I'm not touching any of these aliens. Fuck that.
Dude, I am Captain Kirk all the way. I was like, where's the green ladies at? Let's make this happen.
I was out. Nope. That's the level where I was like, nope. It's gonna be.
This is one of those weird things about game. What's what I love about gaming? Obviously, you can always just do whatever you want because like this ain't fucking real anyway. But it's like it's, I don't know, dude. It was just like yeah. You know, Liara caught the eye in the comic. Again, it was a comic, and I was like, oh okay, you know, it because it had the option. You know, it was very to the point in the comic for Mass Effect 1. So I was like, who do you want? Essentially, you might as well have just said, who is it that you think she'll be into? Okay, and then so when I did 2. I figured I could continue with Liara because I was like, well, hey, we're we're a couple, right? And no, that wasn't. The door closed. I was like, well, damn. You. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, fine.
You're Bernie Crisp. So
yeah, no. But I think what happened was because Liara wasn't even in the picture. That's what it was. Liara was not in the picture because Shadow Broker was a DLC.
Oh, DLC, that's right.
And so Liara was never in it. So I was like, damn, she's not even in this. And so I was like, well, you gotta do somebody. And I was like, I didn't want to do
wow. If we're gonna do somebody,
I know. I
guess I go for Garrus, you know.
I mean, Garrus was, you know, he's cool. He's an alien, I get it. But I mean, he was a cool character. So, and they were like best friends. You know? It's like, okay, well, you know, we'll. So And then the Shadow Broker had like the DLC Shadow Broker comes on. And I play the Shadow Broker, and then of course you run into Liara, and I'm just like, and then at that point it's like, so yeah, I didn't know you were around, so I unfortunately, and then of course you have the option of not saying nothing, and I was like, no, this is Shepard, Shepard's a paragon, regardless of what they're doing, she's got to tell the truth, and she tells the truth, and of course Liara goes, okay, I understand, I understand, and I'm like, damn it, where were you in the beginning of this Mass Effect 2? Shit. Anyway, now, I don't know why I'm going on about this.
Remember that for the longest time since you know me, and until I actually legitimately settled and got married, my particular days were in going for the self-destructive fucking wrecks of a mess of relationship, right? So and for the challenges, I like to get challenged. Let's just say that way.
What's the hardest way to get this done? We're going with that one. Yeah,
exactly. Now you can understand why I decided to. You know what? Let me go with Jack, because crazy lady, no hair. She wants to kill everyone. She was fucked everyone on the ship.
Nothing but tattoos.
Nothing but tattoos. She has issues. Like, it sounds like a prospect.
Yeah.
I want to continue all the way.
We're
heading towards the end of the world anyway. Who cares?
I think if I remember correctly, so here's the, and I know we're spending so much time on Mass Effect 2 for no reason. But
I got that shit, and we have no news. So
the first time I played Mass Effect 2, I actually played as male ship, and I did. I think it was Ashley. I did. You hear me? I selected Ashley.
I was gonna say, it's like interesting choice of word.
That is so inappropriate.
This podcast
I apologize. It's so inappropriate, but
I think we've been canceled already.
So no, I had it was Ashley. Which is why Kaden was an immediate no, bro.
It's called romance.
Yeah.
All right.
Romance. Yeah. So I picked Ashley, and then I got to part 2, and then that's when I picked Jack. Again, Ashley was in the comic. Jack. Well, Jack's a female, guys. And so I picked Jack for him in part 2. And then it took years for Mass Effect 3 to come out. And that's when
replayed it.
Exactly. It was just like, because I did try, get to my own credit. I'll give myself. I did try to play part 3 using the save character, and I had no clue what was going on. Anderson, I was following Anderson at one point. I'm like, I know this guy. He's supposed to be important, but I have no clue who he is. There's some other dude who was talking. It just, at some point I realized I don't recall what the hell was going on in this game. So back in the day, I had more time. So I was like, fuck it. Let me just play part 2 again. And when I did that is when I said, well, you know what? Let me try Femship. And then that's when the whole Femship thing happened. So, and to be fair,
that became canon, even though
fair, I still feel that the Femship was a much more stronger character. You know what I mean? Voice wise, because it was
voice wise, yes. Because Jennifer Hale could do.
Yes.
She was better than this. I mean, this guy's good. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Jennifer Hale delivered it.
Correct.
See, I don't know though, because now I think about some very good male ship lines like. This is Commander Shepard. This is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Is that really a good line? I look forward to avoiding that when I get to the Citadel in part 2. And I'm like, man, I had freaking Shepard out here.
That's Paragon
himself.
Though.
You know what I mean?
That's the Paragon section. So unless you want to go Renegade and be like, no, fuck your store.
No, I'll just do I'll think about it, and we'll go somewhere else. So it'll give me 2 Paragon and 2 Renegade instead of 4. It's such a weird system, but anyway.
I like more out of the system. And like everybody was celebrating the fact that, thank goodness the games don't have that anymore. It's like, and I can understand, badly implemented, it's kind of dumb. Especially when you select something that you think is, the bad choice and ends up being something not so bad. Or maybe you select the good choice and you end up coming like a total jerk. and it's too black and white. Like I get that. I get the reason why people were not a fan, but I like being able to transform my character basically.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think it was good for its time, but it is definitely questionable, and I still get a little frustrated when you pick a selection and it's phrased a certain way, and what comes out is not. That's not how that was phrased. But okay, I guess we're going with it. Because it seems like this seems like a direct thing. And it's like overly direct. So what do you mean you could? I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? That's not how I read that.
No.
It's very, I don't know.
But was like the first, the Mass Effect 1, or wasn't there? Was it one that? Oh no, maybe it was not even Mass Effect. Maybe it was Night of the Old Republic, where you could see exactly the lines that they were gonna say. So there's no doubt of your selection. Like I almost want to say I like that more, but in some other cases, like it takes away from the surprise because it's like, oh well, yeah. Now you're just reading a script.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. But anyway, I guess that's all I've been doing.
Fine, we'll end this part then.
And we're back, and it is now time for our trailer of the week.
Yes, we have one of those. Yes, we didn't forget about them.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bambi was our last trailer of the week. If I remember correctly.
Well, we used to know. It's been a while.
He's broke.
I'm sorry.
He's in the heights right now.
So
he broke into song. Except for some reason he decided to bring
Stained?
Bush? Stained? Yeah, Stained. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the dark version of In the Heights. He's in the lows.
Oh my god. Settlers. No, I'm sorry. Trailer of the week, guys. Spoilers. No. Is not Settlers. I think we both agree. So we actually we saw two trailers. Actually we saw more, but we're gonna stick with the two.
Yes.
One of them is Settlers, which is obviously a sci-fi film from what we saw, from what we could tell. And then the other one was How It Ends, which is a much more down to earth film, if you will. So I'm just gonna leave it out there and go. I think we both kind of land on the same one, but I don't know if you want to get into it. So How It Ends, real quick synopsis. How It Ends is looks to be more of a comedy regarding the end of the world. Looks like the last day on Earth. An asteroid or meteor is about to hit the planet, and it's what people are doing with their last moments of life. And then Settlers is a sci-fi film. Looks like there's what appears to be a colony on, I would only assume, Mars, because Venus would be too hot to be able to put a colony on.
And Earth looks too close.
Earth is too close, but it can't be any further than that. So, and so it stars Johnny Lee Miller, which I wanted to, point out. Johnny Lee Miller, if you don't remember him, he was Zero Cool from Hackers.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Yeah. Of course I remember from Hackers.
That 90s sci-fi classic. Hackers.
That was a great movie, though.
I love the movie. As stupid as it is, and as idiotic as their internet is. That
was back in the day where the internet was like a magical place. You remember the net?
It was, yeah.
Sandra Bullock. And that little symbol.
The net, yes. The pie symbol, yeah.
Yeah. Where the thought of ordering pizza online was like, holy shit. That's like Jetsons technology.
It was, but you're absolutely right. We really should revisit like early movies to see, hey, this is before the internet, or when the internet was very young.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Oh no, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, this movie has nothing to do with that. this is very,
Unfortunately, no debate
unfortunately.
in that.
Sir, what did you think of these trailers overall?
So I'll tell you, I think shout out should go to to the unheard movie Pig with Nicolas Cage.
Oh God,
That trailer was something else. Anyway,
it was definitely something else. That's
yes.
for sure.
No, I think I mean, so Settlers should have been the most interesting one, right? But I think that trailer gives way too much away.
Yeah,
and it's a bad trailer. Honestly, it's a bad trailer. I get the idea what they were going for it, and the sci-fi ness, which doesn't even look like amazing sci-fi either, because everything looks very barren anyway, because it's supposed to be Mars, or we're assuming that it is Mars. All intended purposes, just
it is an assumption. It's a safe assumption, but it is definitely an assumption.
The movie doesn't say that it's there, but it tells you, it shows a lot of other stuff, including what could have been maybe the reveal.
Oh God,
which at that point is like
it's so bad. Yeah,
there's
certain things that I get marketing, and I get how you want to tempt people, because the whole deal is, if you don't show enough, you're not showing enough to get people to go to the theater. But there is a line, and it's a fine line, and you have to be within that line. You have to show enough to get them interested, but you can't go revealing shit, man. There was an interesting plot point. When the moment I saw it, I was like, oh God, no! Why would you show that in the trailer? And it's like, because you don't know. This is literally at this like the final third of the trailer. At this point, you establish that you're somewhere far. You're not on Earth, because you're looking at a star going, yeah, that's Earth. So that establishes you're on a different planet. You are, you see something's happening. You're being invaded by, I don't know, bandits or whatever the case may be. And then it just, it's like, okay, so we have that. Okay, we know what's going on. Okay, this is intriguing. This is whatever. And then boom, it reveals, oh, so they're in some sort of dome. We're like, why would you do that? Why would you, if that, obviously it's supposed to reveal, because the person who saw it or noticed it didn't know that was there. So it's like, so why would you do that? It's like, no, man, that's a reveal for the movie.
Exactly. And regardless of if it's trying to be misdirection, it's a trailer is not where you
don't misdirect in the trailer.
Blow that up. That's not where you try to do that.
Yeah.
The trailer is not to establish necessarily, misdirection, because now you've missed an opportunity to do that inside the movie. So yeah, that's why I'm not giving it to Settlers, honestly.
I agree.
To be fair with you, it didn't look like that. Like, it wasn't, probably even without that, it probably wasn't going to grab me. Not to say that the trailer for how it ends, it looks spectacular or anything like that. It's certainly not. I mean, it's not the type of movie that you're expecting when you hear us talk about it, and about it's the last day on Earth and This actually seems to be more about a movie more about probably making amends, or probably like making amends more with yourself than your choices.
Like, if you were given, if you knew, hey, you have, today is the final day. Tomorrow the world's gonna blow up. It's like, what do you do? What choices are you gonna make?
Right.
What would you try to do? Would you just try to just say, fuck it, I'm gonna go
all out,
drink myself to stuff fucking stupor? Am I gonna go party all night? Am I gonna go, tell the person that I've been, whatever, I love them, visit a family member that you've been estranged with? I mean, all these things come to mind, and so that's smoke cocaine because you never did it, and you're like, well, fuck it, now's the time. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what do you do with that final time? And so, but this is clearly a comedy.
That should be a topic of the week.
What would you do in your final moments? Yeah. this is clearly a comedy. It's not meant to be something.
Right.
I mean, I think it's going to obviously have some moments, but overall, I think it's more comedic, and it looks fun.
It does look fun.
Yeah, it does look fun. It does have the director, believe it or not, Zoe Lister, or I should say, one of the directors. Zoe Lister Jones is the main character that you're seeing in the trailer, so she's also starring in it. So the director is also the star. So that's interesting. It does have that, and this is really the only way I can explain it. Seth Rogen comedy like.
Kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, which is, not saying anything about Seth Rogen, but it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because even without me having, that many examples of films with Seth Rogen, because I typically don't watch that many films anyway. I completely understood where you were coming from with it. Especially once you see the trailer, you get that vibe. And yeah, I liked it. I think it touches on an interesting, subject, not just the end of the world, but how do you deal with the thing that could be bothering you the most, in your life, knowing that you're not going to have it anymore, which in this case, it might be how you left things, how the decisions you made. And I think that's an interesting concept. So yeah, I'm going to give it to that one.
I agree. I think that one was a really cool one. And I mentioned this off the air, and I also want to mention it to anyone who, if you see this trailer and you find it to be interesting in any way, there's another film came out in 2012. It is called, let me go back here because I had it up, Searching for a Friend for the End of the World, and it stars Steve Carell and Keira. Yeah, it's a long one. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. It stars Steve Carell and Keira Knightley, and it's actually pretty cool. I kind of dug it for what it was, and has a very similar thing. The differences between the trailer, only because we have not seen how it ends, but from the trailer, it looks like
the
movie starts on the last day. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's it, 24 hours, do what you got to do. End of the World is not that. It's like they get something along like they find out that, hey, it's coming, there's nothing we can do about it, but there's a time frame, and I want to say it's a few months or something like that. So obviously, everybody does what they're gonna do, and this is not a spoiler, this is in the trailer, but Steve Carell's wife literally leaves him the moment she finds out, oh, we're all gonna die. It's like, oh damn,
forget you.
Yeah. And she just goes and does her own thing. And of course, if you know Steve Carell, 40-year-old virgin, I don't know if you know what that is, but it is, he's pretty funny. He's from The Office, the show The Office. And of course, Keira Knightley is, who Keira Knightley is, so I don't tell you that. But anyway, it's pretty cool. It's very similar. Also comedy. This one looks, how it ends looks like to be more comedic. How it ends, has its moments, but it's still pretty funny. So
yeah.
Anyway, so our trailer of the week, guys. How It Ends, coming out on July 20th of this year.
I'm looking forward to see how it ends.
Yeah, we'll see exactly. See exactly how it ends.
I needed to.
Well done, sir. Well done. All right. Well, the news is coming up. So stick around. We'll be right back with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is now time for our Hot Topic of the Week.
Hot Topic 3.
Hot Topic E3, guys, is, exactly that. E3, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Spoiler alert, it is E3. That's what we're going to talk about, because E3 happened this week, and we're always excited whenever we have a show. And we didn't have we didn't have it last year, so
For sure.
of course we missed it.
Yeah, we have pent up 2 years of excitement at this point that we were literally busting out of our pants while we were watching the show. Yes, it was that exciting.
I feel like I need to take a shower now. But see, the thing is, like I said, we're so starved for an E3 that we got here what would have been considered maybe a shadow of his former self, and we're still like, yep, it's better than nothing, you know?
Yeah. So first off, here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna stick to the major conferences, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna categorize what we saw in these particular ones. And we have 5 categories. First is a game of show of that particular conference. Second one is biggest surprise. The third one is the WTF award. And yes, that is what the fuck for anybody who doesn't understand what that means. The fourth is still MIA, missing in action again. And finally, the rumor mill. And of course, these are not going to apply to all of the conferences because some of the conferences are jokes, really, at that point. So, obviously we're going to, we're just going to mention them. Yeah, we're going to mention them, and then move on. But definitely, this is how we're going to categorize a lot of what we want to talk about. And also, before we get into that, we're going to go to the major ones. But before we get into that, and by the way, I'm going to start with the Ubisoft one because that was just kind of in the order of how it happened. That was on the Saturday, the first showing. On Saturday, E3. But
when E3 originally started,
yeah. So overall, sir, without really the specifics and anything, how do you feel about this virtual E3 we had overall?
Overall, I mean, it was the best they could deliver, right? Probably not, but like I said, we were so starved for having an E3 that like I accepted it for what it was. It's like, hey, you said you were going to talk about new games, and for the most part, you did. It was definitely like not having Sony making some sort of announcement. Remember how we were like, oh, we bet that they're probably gonna announce on Tuesday that they're gonna have a direct on Thursday or something. It's like that didn't happen.
Did not. I think that was my prediction, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah.
So it's okay. None of our predictions were taken seriously because we just didn't know. We just didn't know what to expect of this particular E3. It's the first E3 after we didn't have one, and with the pandemic still being an issue in the States, we knew that we were not going to have our typical fanfare announcement presentations, where you invite the press and they're all in one room and they have the actual conferences. So I wouldn't even call them conferences. I would say more that they were like showcases for what they were. Those ones that were, but not having Sony definitely made the whole thing seem like very one-sided and in a good way, one-sided in the sense that we get Microsoft talking about all the things that they needed to actually talk about, and finally they get some spotlight, but at the same time in a bad way because all we heard was Microsoft and third parties, and we have no idea. It felt like 2020 when it came to what Sony's doing, and we want to know what Sony's doing because we always want to know like both sides.
The sad part is that there is actually, if you follow the PlayStation blog, then you're going to know that there was some, rumblings here and there, but they weren't good. There was one announcement and this is not in anything we're going to talk about further, which is why I'm going to bring it up here. Is just there was one announcement regarding a new team that was put together with some of the guys from Treyarch, and now they're this new team that's working. That's like a second party team working with whatever. Now they just got put together. That's the announcement.
That's the announcement.
There's no game. We have no clue what the hell they're doing. But it's like, so this is what are we announcing? Why are we even talking about this? Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's like you don't even know what you're doing yet. You're just putting together a team. That's great.
Yeah.
What is that about? You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I'm a little bit worried because I feel like they may not actually be anything for them to talk about. You know what I mean? Outside of what we already know.
Probably the reason why they decided not to. Yeah.
Perhaps. Yeah. Which I guess is fine. But man, that's just deafening. You know what I mean? It's like, especially after what I would consider one of the best Xbox conferences in quite some time. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So
they finally get to show the investment that they have made.
Yeah.
This is the moment that they actually finally get to show, okay, well, this is the stuff that they've been working on, as opposed to, we just acquire a bunch of studios and we're going to have to wait, 7 to 10 business years.
7 to 10 business days. I love it. Yeah, I agree. Another thing I would say that we did learn here, that I think it's a lesson that next year I hope everyone takes to heart, and that is not everyone needs a damn conference, guys. If you have nothing to talk about, then just shut up. Just
for real.
Connect your shit to one of the other conferences and call it a day, because it's like there was just too many. At some point, really, it was like, there's just too many of these. There's just too many of these. There's just too many going on. And then when they happen, you're like, this could have been a fucking trailer. There was no need to go through all this, whatever the hell that they were trying to do. So,
Gearbox did not need to have.
Gearbox did not need a freaking conference at all. It was a joke, dude. It was to the point. Well, I guess we'll talk about it when we get to that one. But all right, so let's start with. I do want to start with this one only because it happened just before E3, and I think we did not mention it at all last week, and so that's why I want to make sure we bring up. And that is the Devolver Digital Direct. Sir, if you have not seen the Devolver Digital Direct, I highly recommend you do, because if there's one thing that they do is they love to parody the game industry. And this year was it was basically the same. So basically they've introduced what is obviously very real, something called the Devolver Max Pass Plus, which is a completely free subscription service that offers the entire Devolver Digital catalog, including all future titles, as exclusive premium purchases. No NFTs here, just subscription passes, monetizing your monetization. Devolver Digital is, as you know, sir, like, that's my publisher of choice. If I could, if I can invest in one, that's where I would put my money. And I was just like, I'm just gonna put my money with it. I don't know if you saw any of the games, but I will here. This is a quick one because it really is just out of those 5 categories, my game of the show, and that is a game called Trek to Yomi, which is I posted this in the group, and it is a black and white side-scrolling, very similar to Inside, black and white side-scrolling samurai game, and it looks too cool for school, sir. Like, it sold me immediately. And yeah, so it's called Trek to Yomi. I posted it in the group. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it.
I didn't, to be honest, I didn't pay attention. I mean, Devolver Digital has some cool titles, in particular. I did not watch the E3 press conference, because although I agree that they have a way of parodying the game industry, I feel like that's the shtick that they have stuck to already for like several E3s,
for a while
or
now,
you know,
yeah.
for a while now. Where now it's like, oh, okay, like that. This is. I don't feel it's amusing anymore.
Oh no,
You know.
I mean, because the whole deal is so. For the record, I agree that it can get stale, but obviously they just keep picking the newest thing. You know
Yeah,
what
the
I mean?
newest trend. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so I don't know. I kind of find it funny, but I hear you. I hear you. If it gets a little,
I no. To be fair, that's not what I'm judging them to be at all. I still think that it's the game, and they have some games that they're incredible and they should be played, and so some others are just like they don't stick the landing.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, I don't have any other biggest surprise. I don't have anything there. MIA, however, I will have to throw out there. And there's a couple of titles. One of them specifically, I don't know how to spell it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Called EITR, EITR. That Devolver Digital at this point has shown 5 years ago.
oh wow, no, that's done, man.
And I think that is officially vaporware, and it's missing in action at this point. And I'm a little depressed because it looked cool, damn it. It was kind of,
Is that the PS4? I mean, it must have been, of course.
Yeah, it was definitely.
The one that you showed me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it looked like a Dark Souls with a main character. Dark Souls with pixel, and the main character was this woman with like red hair and a sword and a shield. Pretty sure I showed it to you at one point. And,
you did.
Yeah, and so, but I was like, man, that looks cool. That's gonna be great, and still missing in action because it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. So so those are the only two I have for it. I don't think you personally have anything. I don't think you even got a chance to see the show. So
no, I didn't. Although I'll tell you one thing. This Trek to Yomi looks very rad.
Very cool, right?
Yeah.
Trek to Yomi, yeah. It does. That was like, that's my game of the show.
Yeah.
That's my game of the show.
Might as well be even though it's not, I'm not saying it's the same gameplay, but like when you see the black and white, it reminds me of playing Ghost of Tsushima in the Kurosawa mode.
Kurosawa mode, yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, oh, I want in on this. It was I think if I remember correctly, it was the very first game they showed, which is good and bad because I was like, you set the bar all the way up. And then at some point they showed off some bullshit game. I was like, oh, this is they set it too high this should have finished with this one. And I think it would have finished strong. So.
I think it would have been, it would have been amazing. And this is the way this look, unless they botch it on the gameplay, hopefully not. This is a must. I mean, this looks extraordinary.
Really good, right? Yeah. Like it caught my eye. I was like, ooh, I want some of that.
You sounded like a samurai right there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now you sounded like, oh yeah.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Randy Macho Man. Yeah. So anyway, so that's Devolver Digital. I think they only showed off like 5 or 6 games. It wasn't a big show. There's usually half an hour at most, and a lot of it's parody anyway. So, Anyway, moving on to one of the bigger ones, and that, of course, is the Ubisoft Forward, which did air on the Saturday, day 1 of E3. And they showed off several games. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through them here, and then you can kind of place them into your category that you want. Excuse me. First one was Rainbow Six Extraction, which is a new reveal. They did show off some crossplay for Rainbow Six Siege, for a little bit more Far Cry 6, which we had already known about. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. They revealed that and also showed off some gameplay. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which looked pretty good as far as graphics go. Watch Dogs Legions has the Bloodline expansion. What else? Rocksmith Plus, which also looked kind of dope. I'm not going to lie, for somebody who wants to get back into playing the guitar. Of course, they showed off Riders Republic, which I knew they were going to go into a deep dive of that. They showed off a story gameplay trailer for Rainbow Six Siege North Star. Then they showed off a little bit of For Honor Year 5 Season 2. Year 5 Season 2. Let that sink in, guys. For Honor Year 5 Season 2. I feel like that game has just been around too long. Trackmania Royal Mode and World Cup, which look pretty cool. Brawlhalla is bringing the Ninja Turtles because we all needed that. The Crew 2 showed off a little bit more as well. An update to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The Valhalla content roadmap. And, of course, they closed out with some more Far Cry 6. So, sir, starting off the top. Oh, I'm sorry. They also showed off a lot of the Far Cry, I guess it's DLC or Season Pass that they have going on, which was, which also looked pretty freaking cool. So, I don't know if you want to start or I can start, but I'm going to just throw it out here.
Let me start with one that I just want to get out of the way because
do it.
I am very frustrated with this, and that is Rainbow Six Extraction. What the actual breathing fuck is this?
I assume this is the WTF award.
This is it gotta it have to. Spoilers. Man, talk about like completely not having a clue of what your IP is. Rainbow Six used to be it used to be a very tactical game based on military gear, very near future tech. I would say very espionage and action espionage type, cemented in a quasi reality. And it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. It's in the fucking title,
Yeah, it is.
Tom Clancy doesn't write. Not that any of these games, by the way, that have come out have been based on any of his properties, because at this point, the Tom Clancy name is just that. It's just we're paying to use the name because it sounds like the name, it's a brand. It's a brand. There is no Rainbow Six novel, at least that I know of. There is none of this nonsense games that came out.
I think there is a Rainbow Six novel. But
there might be a Rainbow Six. Yeah. Well, if there is, it's probably not by him, and it's still called Tom Clancy's Rainbow. Oh, it's some weird shit like that. Anyway, the thing is, you don't have him writing about fucking alien invasions and much less cartoon-looking aliens, for that matter. This is the nonsensical, well, let's just throw say, for example, a Yakuza game, but zombies are gonna be in them because, zombies are a thing. Even though that's not the reason you play Yakuza games. If you play Yakuza games. It's like a weird mismatch for no reason. And some might argue, well, the reason is for fun. Then, okay, I get that. I mean, it's not like we're lacking games where you shoot aliens, but okay, that's fine. Don't call it fucking Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is not that type of game. It's not. It's totally not. Yeah. It's completely tone deaf to call this a Rainbow Six game and have aliens on them, because now you have made the brand into something that it was really never meant to be, or you don't have any respect for it. Now it's honestly, if the name is just a random brand, to you could have called it Tom Clancy's Hawk 2. Holy shit, we're in space now, or something like that. Yeah. Like it was maddening to see that, and then the gameplay doesn't even look that great.
It did not. Oh my god,
nothing next gen on this at all. And You know what? As a I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I might be in some cases because I do love some Ubisoft games. I don't know what it is about them. I don't necessarily think they're particularly, like phenomenal. I mean, they're not fucking God of War or Spider-Man or Forza Horizon. I was trying to think of Microsoft of that caliber. Hopefully, I'll be able to say Starfield or some shit like that in the future. Anyway, like it's not that, but they have, they're fun they're fun to mess around with, and they do have a good progression. Those that don't overextend themselves and try to make stupid collectathons a thing. I feel like they have kept that under control a little bit for the most part. But they don't tend to look next gen. Like I don't play Valhalla on PS5 and think, oh my God, this can only be done on PS5. No, this is running better on PS5 because it's running at 60, but the graphics are probably the same graphics that you get on PS4. Maybe the resolution is upped a little bit, but again, nothing taking particularly great advantage of what the hardware could do. And this particular game did not look like it does at all.
No, the gameplay didn't look very good. And I think you hit the nail on the head where this was, or appears to be, very tone deaf as to what Rainbow Six Siege was. Rainbow Six Siege was, rooted in realism, in grittiness, and all of that shit was thrown out the window the moment aliens or whatever the hell those creatures are got thrown into the mix.
Yeah,
it was just like, this is, and then they spent so much time on it. On top of it was just like,
they spent so much time on it. And again, it's not like they're doing something so cool that you can say, well, fuck, man, they brought aliens, but I mean, that looks amazing. It looks super bland, like
asynchronous, right? This is an asynchronous multiplayer game, meaning, or co-op game. So it's not even versus, it's all completely co-op. Now, to their credit, they're not moving on from Siege, and I think they made that like completely when they mentioned the new updates to Siege. But it's like, hey, we have something here, something else. It's just like, I feel like they're like overextending their reach. Yeah, it's like,
call it something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't even look like it doesn't even look like that type of... Oh, actually, I take it back.
Well, think about it.
It actually looks like the gameplay of Rainbow Six Siege shoehorn into like, oh, well, let's throw in aliens. We already have this game. We already have this engine. We already have these assets. What can we do? Fuck it. Let's asset flip some aliens here and let's turn it into something that the Tom Clancy brand was never meant to be.
Exactly.
Why don't we do that?
It is obvious. So the question comes up to, who is this for? Right?
Yeah.
It's not for your Siege group, right? Because your Siege group, they want that grittiness that they're already playing anyway. And that they're going to have an update apparently as well. So it's not for them. So it's for other people. Well, those other people, guess what? They've never played Siege. Why? Because Siege is its own thing. It's become its own community. So they have no connections to Siege or Rainbow Six at this point. And it's been years. And you're introducing Extraction. So it's like you got your community, but you're like, no, we want more. Let's create something else. That, it's just like, it feels like they're overextending their reach here. And it's like, you've created something that is going to most likely, to me personally, I have no idea, but most likely crash and burn. It just, none of it looked good. None of it looked interesting. It is an asymmetrical co-op game, which has not had a lot of luck in the industry. I think of Evolve. So it was like, that shit doesn't work. No one is not working anywhere. So,
what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Konami. Remember when Konami? They fire Kojima or whatever allegedly happened. Kojima left, whatever. But they kept the Metal Gear game, and they have this awesome engine and this awesome thing already done. And it's like, ooh, we need to do something with it because we spent a lot of money on it. Let's just make another game with the Metal Gear title. Let's call it, Metal Gear Survive. And let's throw let's make the story of Metal Gear being thrown into like an alternate universe with aliens and shit. It's like, again, who asked for this?
Exactly.
And
you know what?
Metal Gear Survive did so well.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, that is probably the most apt comparison. As you're mentioning it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a perfect example of this. This is like, how do we take what we have and fuck it up real bad and make it something that we can just shit out?
Let's
that's
just
exactly
what we have because we already have the engine, and
we got to make. We got to make.
There's gonna be some fools out there that is just gonna spend money on it because of the brand. So
because
why
of the
not?
name?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. That's a perfect nail on the head. Yeah, that is also my the WTF award for me also goes to that as well. So I definitely concur.
We're putting it there.
My biggest surprise, dude, I'm just gonna throw it out there, man. Far Cry Blood Dragon, bro. I was like, hell.
I thought you were gonna go with Far Cry 6, which includes Blood Dragon.
That's the expansion or the season pass or something that includes the Blood Dragon. Which I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm already in. For me, also, game of the show was Far Cry 6, which wasn't hard to do because they really didn't show anything else that kind of even compared. So my game of the show was Far Cry 6, and the biggest surprise was the Blood Dragon. The fact that is something. I mean, I would pay for Far Cry 6 and pay for the expansion and just to play Blood Dragon again, and I would feel that would probably be worth it. You know what I mean? Because I really, really enjoyed Blood Dragon. That game was too cool for school. So those two awards right there is what I have.
I'm excited because I didn't finish Blood Dragon. Actually, I didn't play enough because other stuff got in the way, and I regretted that because you know what it was? By the time it came out, I was too burned out of Far Cry. Oh, geez, I hope this doesn't happen with Far Cry 6 and then playing this.
Yeah,
but I still play because I need. Like, I regretted not having finished this game, and knowing that it's getting remade, I'm excited for. And if they follow the same route or the same the same way that they have done all the other DLCs, I feel like the one where you get to play as the bad guy from other Far Cries is gonna come in first. And I can't wait for that because I get to play as one of my favorite characters in gaming. He's evil and he's scary as fuck to me. Has always been
Boss?
One of the scary.
Yeah.
Yes, fucking Boss. Boss is scary because he looks like a person that can exist. It's actually real. He's not a fantasy monster. He's a real life. Yes, this person could actually be living next door to you. Type of like psychotic. Like, I don't know. It freaks me out. One of my favorite trailers always been that Far Cry 3 actually presentation. It was an Xbox 360 presentation one when they showed it, and it was funny because I rewatched it recently, and it was back in the day where Ubisoft will show you a trailer. And when the game was out, the game will actually look better than the trailer. That shit doesn't happen anymore. Now it's the opposite.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if you ever watch the presentation for the definition of insanity for Far Cry 3, and you see that presentation on an Xbox on an E3 on a Microsoft E3 presentation. It is awesome from start to finish. I mean, for back in the day, now the gameplay obviously is going to be outdated, Far Cry, but still. And it is true that for the most part, the villains of those Far Cry games, at least ever since Far Cry 3 and forward, have been charismatic in their own way. They are well done. Even the one for Far Cry 5, which I did not care for, and I will say is the weakest of them all. I will still say but
still better than a lot of villains you play in the game. That you play against in the game. Yeah. There's still substance there, where in a lot of games the villain is just this evil dude for just being part.
Oh my god, dude! If there's one criticism that I can actually point out, and this is a side note, but criticism that I can point out to Final Fantasy VII remake that I just cannot stand is just how pointless and stupid the villains are. It brings the whole experience down, because especially Heidegger, is that his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, fuck that guy. That guy almost ruins this otherwise almost spotless game. Every time that he will say something like stupid and trying to be evil, and then have the evil laugh. It's like, dude, calm the fuck on. You're a cartoon.
That's from the original. Obviously, it was no laughter.
They didn't have to. Yeah. They did not have to. They could have made it, I don't know, more sinister. The way he's playing, he's just playing like a caricature and not one that is hitting home. I do not like that character, but not because I hate him because he's evil. I just hate him because he's dumb.
Yeah.
No, he's just a dumb character. Well, back to Ubisoft.
Back to Ubisoft. So yeah, that's my game of the show, and that's my biggest surprise. What is we
concurred on this one. Yeah, I was surprised to hear that Valhalla was getting more content because I was expecting something to be announced. No, I mean in the sense that it got
a different another
year of support instead of already talking about possibly the next. Well, I don't know. It might have been early. Who knows? The thing is, I was surprised because I felt like the stuff that they have brought up already, or the stuff they have planned already that hasn't been released, like was gonna clear, do. That was gonna be it for Valhalla, but evidently not. Evidently, that game's gonna get supported for probably a couple more years from the looks of it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's fine. I like
a little bit of breathing room between the Assassin's Creeds. I think it would do them some well.
Yeah. And you know what? Surprisingly enough, it seems like those expansions tend to have the more interesting stories. So because they're condensed and they're interesting. So why not? At this point, dude. I was trying to see if I could understand what is happening in this world. Because remember, I started from Odyssey. Mm-hmm. I did not play Origins, but from Odyssey forward, and I was like, okay, let me go back to see if I'm understanding since I evidently beat the game, and actually I got confirmation I did beat the game. There's the other stuff I could do, and I'll probably go back to it because I did.
That's a lot when you don't know that you.
I know,
the game.
totally, and you know what? You know what it is? We're conditioned to seeing credits roll at the end. Like this is the closing. Close it. This fucking game doesn't do that. It just it throws an ending that could have been like, hey, you know what? This isn't bad. You closed it. It probably would have been a little disappointing, but. Also, because you left it in such a freaking crazy cliffhanger, then you're thinking like, okay, well, this is gonna continue, right? Because now it got interesting. Nope. Yeah, I actually finished the main story already, so it's like, oh, well, fucking great. So you're right. It says a lot the fact that I couldn't tell if I've beaten the game or not. But like I said, I'll still probably go back to it because I do want to wrap some of the things in. I was having fun playing that game. But I try to understand the logic because if I'm understanding some of the things, this game has the story of the Vikings, but I feel like that is the main story that wants to give you about it. But behind it it has a story of what is happening in the real world, and why is it that these things are happening. So it's enough to get the story from the Vikings, but I wanted to understand the back end so I could have the whole experience. Dude, it is so fucking convoluted that just reading it, there was not gonna be any way in hell, even if I would have played Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins. There's no way that I would have gotten it, because it makes some incredibly convoluted logic jumps that it expects you to accept. That it's like, no, man, this is just gibberish. This is not. This is the reason why I can't say, well, it doesn't. I can't fully recommend it to you, because even though the storyline of the Viking, which is the main reason you're playing this game, there is a story here. There's gonna be parts where they're just way too what the fucky, and it's just even for even if you, after you read the whole lore, it's still like, okay, well, there's no way in hell that I was gonna understand that, because I'm not a physicist, or I'm not a time traveler either. So fuck this, But again, as a Ubisoft game, I'm having fun with it. So hearing out that they're gonna be more content, I'm like, okay, hell yes, because I like my Viking. I wouldn't mind, playing some more of that. So that's still not my biggest surprise. Obviously, biggest surprise was the fact that that DLC that got announced for Far Cry 6. So I already knew that I was gonna get Far Cry 6, but hearing that Blood Dragon was gonna come out, and the villains DLC, that's like, okay, I am gonna have to get the $100 version, because I'm gonna buy the season pass anyway. I might as well buy it with the little discount that I will get for getting the bundle.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I mean, if you got to do it anyway, that's the
at that point it's like, well, yeah. I'm gonna have to.
But I will still hold on. I want them to do what I think that they're going to do here. I feel like they're turning. I feel like they're promising to Far Cry 6. They're promising to, let the story be what the story is. If you want to attach it to real life, fine. If you don't, then don't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I hope that from what I see, we get what we get. You know what I mean? Or we get what it looks like it's going to. Yeah. So I'm still gonna hold off, but I think I am also at least close to day one on that one. But we will see. So yeah, those are our three there. For MIA, I think it's pretty obvious. Still MIA. Where the hell is Splinter Cell? Where the hell is Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
It's like, are these? I feel like these have. Well, I feel like the Splinter Cell series is just dormant.
And they're letting it. They're laying it there. It's like you could be. There are people that want that game. Like, yes. What is it? Why are we playing Rainbow Six Aliens? Like, who asked for that? Why are you not using those resources into something meaningful, like the next chapter of Sam Fisher? Hell, reboot the series, because that series also got a little bit crazy. A little stale, in the sense that it's like, okay, now you're going, just do something to reboot the whole thing. Make a new, Sam Fisher, and call it Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Again, who cares? That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's a shame we didn't hear anything from, not even whispers. So that's it's a little sad, but it is what it is. All right, moving on into the next one, which is going to be fairly quick. The next one on the list, again, based on when it was aired, would be The Gearbox. Yeah. So I'm going to make this pretty quick here. My WTF goes to the show in general. It's like, I don't. If I had to point at a game, I would say this Homeworld 3 that they kept mentioning in every freaking transition. Is like, okay, no gameplay, but you're still going to talk about it. Okay, good enough. Biggest surprise I would probably throw into Godfall coming to PlayStation 4. It's like, well, so much for generations, huh? You know what I mean? It's like
this game's not selling on PS5. Let's bring it to
let's downgrade it so we can get it to the
maybe we can sell a couple of more 300 copies.
Yeah. And of course, the big WTF moment is just this fucking guy, Randy Pitchford, out there talking about the movie and on the set,
the Borderlands movie,
annoying the hell out of everyone on the set, and yeah, I do want to check it out too. So yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about this other than I can't believe that we sat through it, or at least I sat through it.
I heard them. I'm with them when you tell me we're gonna make a fantasy game that we're gonna base on the character of Tiny Tina for some reason. Like, I'm like, okay, dude, I hear you. You don't want to call it Borderlands. It's gonna be Borderlandy probably, or you're gonna take some liberties with it. I'm cool with that because I mean, I have no expectation with Tiny Tina. It could be crazy, but again, should be very Borderlandy. Mm-hmm. But they didn't show enough of that. Other than, I mean, they showed a trailer, but they didn't really said what the game was gonna be like. And I don't know. I like Borderlands. Don't get me wrong. I like Borderlands. But I don't know what this game is going to be excited about it just yet. Let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for Borderlands, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something.
You don't care.
No, I'm gonna say. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's gonna be something different. I don't think it's gonna be something different. I think it'll be basically another Borderlands, but with magic and swords. You know, and it's like, okay,
magic and sword.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
Hey.
So
sometimes,
yeah, sometimes that works, but Gearbox, no, don't trust them. So, moving on to the next one. And of course, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the meat and potatoes of E3, and that, of course, is the Xbox and Bethesda conference.
This was E3.
Basically, yeah.
This was the E3.
So I'm just going to quickly roll through what was announced and showed off on the main show. First off, Starfield got a release date and was shown off, but only as a cinematic trailer. And that was the release date is November 11th, 2022. Halo Infinite confirmed for this holiday 2021. No solid date, something to note. And first multiplayer footage was shown. Forza Horizon 5 announced takes the series to Mexico. Redfall, which is a new game for Arcane Studios, a vampire shooter, was also shown off. Again, no gameplay, only cinematic trailer. Diablo 2 Resurrected release date was announced. That's coming September 23rd of this year. Will feature 8-player co-op. Stalker 2 release date announced, coming in April 28th of 2022. That's a ways away. Back for Blood will be available for Game Pass on day one, and that comes out October 12th, 2021. Contraband, not a lot was known there, but it comes from Avalanche Studios, the makers of Just Cause. Was again, cinematic trailer. No gameplay was shown off on there. It looked pretty cool. The best trailer of probably the show, the entire E3, and that is, of course, The Outer Worlds 2, was announced. And dear Lord, did that trailer not just knock everybody's socks off. Sea of Thieves getting a Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. Yakuza Like a Dragon available on Game Pass now, and that would have been obviously that day that they announced it. Battlefield 2042, some gameplay was shown off and it looked really, really good. Ayuden Chronicle, which is Xbox's, hey, Japan, we still make games announced for 2022. 12 Minutes had their release date finally. Comes out August 19th, which is right around the corner. Psychonauts 2 release date August 25th. Microsoft Flight Simulator lands on the Xbox Series X and S July 27th. That's right around the corner, and will come with a Top Gun theme expansion. Ages of Empire 4, release date October 28th. Doom Eternal coming to Game Pass, which we already knew. I don't know why they spent time on that. Fallout 76 Steel Rain DLC coming out July 7th. Elder Scrolls Online had a console enhanced version, will be available this week coming up. Party Animals, an adorable game that wasn't very adorable to me. Hades arriving on Xbox Game Pass on October 13th, also coming to PlayStation for the record. Somerville announced from co-founder of Limbo, that looked like my game, the game of the show. No, not really, but Plague Tale Requiem coming in 2022. And of course, Slime Rancher, an Xbox exclusive. Slime Rancher 2 announced an Xbox exclusive. A snowboarding game called Shredders that we did not like. Atomic Heart will be coming on day one. What the hell is this? Discovered actually Phoenix City. I don't know what. Oh, Replaced, right? We saw Replaced, which is probably the cyberpunk thriller that we did like. Grounded gets some updates. Among Us has 15-player lobbies. Ascent release date announced July 29th. And dear Lord, that's the end. It was quite awful. Yeah,
that's a lot packed for. What, 45 minutes they had, or what? How
no,
much
dude, that was like an hour and 10 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was pretty well packed, packed, sir. So I mean, I don't know if you want to start at the top of game of the show. If you want to start with your what the fuck,
I'm gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk, and you follow me or sure. Mention something. Okay. We'll jump from it. But I'm gonna try to cover the stuff that I was really impressed and really glad to see Forza Horizon 5. Okay, moving on. No, I did not before this presentation, Starfield to me, and I know this is gonna sound like what Starfield to me was not something that I was, caring to learn about. It's still far away, and it is a Bethesda game using the crappy ass engine. I don't want to know anything. I don't care. Fallout 76 says hi. I don't care about that. So when I saw the trailer that they showed, it's the first time they showed something about the game, I'm like, okay, well, at least I get to see the vision, that what they're trying to the art, the art style. Mm-hmm. And okay, that looks good. But I don't want to play any game on Gamebryo. Well, it turns out that trailer looked really fucking good. I was assuming that this was just, created. This is in-game engine. Uh-huh. This is the engine. And when you see the trailer with that information in mind, you're now thinking like, holy shit, this is this is the engine that they're using. This looks really fucking good. And I was looking like, no, but I mean, it still doesn't say much because it's still just in-engine trailer. It's still a trailer. It still doesn't have the AI still doesn't have to, the game doesn't have to be in charge of the millions of things that are happening, around the world, especially with Gamebryo, which always felt like rickety and like it was going to fall apart. Like it doesn't have that. It's just a series of very scripted events to show something cool. So, but at least it does enough to put it in my radar. It's like, okay, now I'm listening. Now I want to know more because this could fucking crash and burn. Like, again, Fallout 76 says hi, and Fallout 76 had a decent trailer when it came out the first time.
So did Fallout 4.
So the Fallout 4, exactly. So it could, it could still be a very Bethesda game, but if they nailed it, I really fucking love that art style. I love that weapon with the LCD that looks like what a real futuristic LCD will be, which is not the typical digital. Like every time I see a futuristic game and they try to put the typical digital font in the number of bullets and stuff like that, I'm like, that's not how computers work. Like, unless they deliberately use that font, to show the number 8 as a box with a line in the middle. It's like, what the fuck? You don't need to do that if you have futuristic displays. But no, in this one, it looks like it displays the ammo like on the same body of the weapon almost. Kind of like a real futuristic, I would imagine. So yeah. So
this was your game of the show?
No, I'm not talking about game of the show. Like I said, I was just gonna jump, from left right, and you can interject at any point you want.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you would, because otherwise,
I honestly I saw it, and yes, it was in. You found out it was in game. It still didn't really change my mind, because I was like, well, if it's in game, then you could have shown something, because we're already in game. But obviously, it's still early.
Well, not necessarily. They wouldn't show gameplay if they don't have the gameplay.
If it's not set, yeah, no, I got that. I got that. Yeah,
because they need to build the engine first. So
this is what I'm saying. It's like
it's too early to show gameplay. I wouldn't have expected gameplay, honestly.
I would have expected something with a release date announced as November 11, 2022. That's very specific. November 11, 2022 is like, okay, that's a solid date. So one or two
they're
things.
Shooting that. They still have time. We're talking about almost 2 years.
No, I get it.
A year and a half?
Yeah, and we've seen plenty of games have gameplay showed at a year and a half out. So one or two things.
I feel that's getting delayed, though. I was
gonna say one or two things. Either one, it's they haven't put together what you would call a vertical slice, obviously, to be able to show off, or two, chances are this will be delayed. So, and that's I'm kind of voting on that one. Like, I think this is going to be delayed. And not that there's any issues or anything like that. I mean, just saying is like, if you can't show something off at this point, because when you really think back when they first announced this, that was 2 years ago. So it's like, so what have you been doing since? So what's going on that you can put, again, not taking it away from it. They could just be like, hey, we're not going to show a vertical slice because a vertical slice may not be the real thing. So, okay, respect. I can respect that. But that still draws that question, you know what I mean? And then when you think of Bethesda and Fallout 76 and all the craziness, like, okay, so it doesn't build a lot of confidence. So it's cool they showed it off.
Still Bethesda.
Correct.
I'm just saying,
still, yeah. It's cool they showed it off. It's cool that it was an engine. It's cool that it's a new engine, the Bethesda Create Engine 2, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's good that they finally decided to do away with that, the other engine. So
embryo.
Yeah. So I still, I still hold pause on that. I still have a pause on that. So for me, I mean, I'm just gonna jump because I love the what the fuck award. So the WTF award, I think we both agree. Maybe I'm not sure. Shredders, what the fuck? That was the one game.
What the fuck was that time
stood out
for that fucking asset flip? Like completely
snowboarding bullshit.
In a world where SSX exists, why are you gonna bring me a bland looking? That probably the blandest looking. See, this is what happens when you try to show the gameplay too early. You fall into this. That's why we didn't get to see gameplay for Cyberpunk for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
And at least look at how that turned out.
Exactly.
No,
exactly. No, you're right. You're right. It was like, yeah, you promised too much too early. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
It was really as we were walking through, it's like, okay, so I think first off that Microsoft's conference was a conference to beat and literally had no competition.
But it has no competition.
I mean? Yeah. So, but at the same time, I'm like,
it's almost
they
like
came
defaulted.
out firing on all cylinders, and then they shoot this dud, and I'm like, wow, dude, you could have just left that one out. That could have been something you show later on outside of your conference. You didn't have to do that. So that was
because they present. I mean, they gave it time, right? It was not
they spent a lot of time on it. Yeah, it was like
they spent time on it. Like it was like the next thing's like, dude,
why are we spending so much time here? Yeah, exactly.
Again,
exactly.
PlayStation 2, SSX, tricky. That's what EA did it a long time ago, and they don't want to do it again because fuck EA.
So I think I'm gonna. For Game of the Show, I've got a 2 for.
That's too early when we haven't talked about a bunch of games here that deserve mention.
I'm sticking to my awards, so I'm just gonna stick to my awards. Yeah, but I guess I have 2 there, so I can kind of knock 2 out one. So I think personally, Mad Dog's Game of the Show was pretty obvious, and that was replaced, which is the Cyberpunk pixelated whatever, and I was just like. I've seen that trailer so many times since that. I'm like, I am so down with that game. I just want it. I want it now. That said, their actual Game of the Show, as an Xbox Game of the Show, I think there's no denying that the Forza Horizon was their Game of the Show. I don't know if you agree.
Without a doubt.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if you're on the same page.
And it's not so much. It's not so much that I am a fan of Forza Horizon 5, but they could have disappointed with something that was like, okay, But everything they show about this trailer got me excited, about like going in fucking day one. And even the Forza Horizon game that I've liked the least, which is, Forza Horizon 4. And it was not because it was bad. The game is fucking phenomenal. It's just that I don't like driving on the wrong side of the road, and it was based on the UK, so But that's not a fair knock. That's just me being silly. That game was amazing. But hearing that this is gonna be taking place in Mexico and looking at the visuals of this, where there was one part where you and I were looking at it, be like, oh, that's just a real life. That's just someone took a real life capture of that area, which was overlooking like a mountain. There was a lot of detail on the foliage and stuff like that, and we were thinking like, okay, that's just real life. And then it cuts down to the road, and the races are happening, and you're like, oh wait, holy
cars pass right by. You're like, oh,
this is actually the engine, and that whole stuff. Got me really excited. The fact that it's going to take place on Mexico, which is it's a country that has a lot of varied seasons. If you want to see snow, there is a place where you see snow. If you want to turn the heat up, there are places where you turn the heat up, and it's like you're gonna get to experience that, and then they has this sandstorms that happen that happen, and suddenly you're racing through them, and it looks amazing. I just hope that they don't make the same mistake that they made with Forza Horizon 4, which is that in order to give players so much liberty, they make the world pretty destructible in a sense that no real vehicle will be able to survive. Like on Forza Horizon 4, one of the things that, and this is a big knock to me, is the fact that you're about to hit a stone, maybe not a wall, but let's say like something like waist high, made of brick. And you just destroy it like if it was made out of Legos, which Lego it incidentally had also a Lego theme DLC, mind you, but we're not talking about that. But I would have been okay with the Legos doing that, and they did. But with the real, with if I'm about to hit a tree, and yes, there was some brick trees that if you hit it, you'll come to a complete stop. But even a medium-sized hit should be able to do some damage. And no, I was just mowing through it to everything. Also, lakes. All the fucking lakes were shallow, as in to say, well, we're not gonna bother, putting depth because you don't want your car to fall into the lake. And that's true. You don't want your car to fall into the lake. Then don't drive around the fucking lake. Like, don't go into the lake on your vehicle. If there's a lake, and
avoid it.
There's water. Avoid it. Exactly. As simple as that. You don't have to make this stupid concessions to like, oh well, it's just all a big plain field, because then it feels like that. Then it feels like, well, I don't have to take the roads, because I can just drive whichever way I want. And there is so much in that, too much freedom. Mm-hmm. And that's bad. And that was a big no that I feel like Forza Horizon 4 had. The fact that it let me, for purposes of racing, you can cut. That's fine. But for other purposes, like getting from A to B, I didn't have to drive on the road, because I could just like go straight line into like the middle of nowhere on a car that was not meant to be off road. So that was kind of dumb and pointless. And I'm really hoping that they learned that, but
they addressed that. Yeah.
I don't.
It doesn't look like they did. Yeah, I was gonna say
no, not from the crazy jumps. You remember there was this car that made this crazy, insane jump, which I was like, that car should have been destroyed on the ground when it hit it. And
axle should have been right off.
Yeah, exactly. And not that I need that realism. Is that seeing, because I want Horizon to continue being the arcadey fun thing, but have some fucking limits, right? Don't make it so that I can just mow through anything and everything, because then what is the point of having the world? If I can just mow through everything and anything and everything, then that takes away. It doesn't matter how amazing your graphics look, stakes. Because at the end of the day, exactly, I can just destroy everything. Yeah. So
I agree.
But Forza Horizon 5 it's still my game.
Yeah.
I will be a great disservice to get away without talking about Halo Infinite, because I feel like
no,
that's
Halo
what
Infinite
most people wanted to see here.
Is that your game of the show? No, because it was Forza.
Well, it had to be. Yeah, it had to be Forza. But if it wasn't Forza, it definitely would have been. Here's the thing: it's hard to beat, because Stalker 2 looked ridiculous. They replaced, like you said, it looked ridiculous. Outer Worlds 2. We should talk about Outer Worlds.
Well, Outer Worlds 2 was a trailer, and even they admitted it wasn't exactly ready.
Yeah, no, exactly. That trailer was the trailer of the show, without a doubt. One of the funniest moments, that I had E3. We were both like cackling because it was funny. It was a very on the nose a trailer.
Yeah.
And by the way,
it was absolutely great.
By the way, without the shadow of a doubt, we can confirm this is an Xbox exclusive.
It was. Yeah, I had watched it again when you had messaged me. I was like, I had already watched it again. I was like, I saw it. So it is definitely an Xbox exclusive, which makes perfect sense.
I think there was I saw postings on like the NeoGAF of the Reset era or something. People were still asking about that. It's like, dude, it was like the first thing that they showed.
Right up front. Yeah, right up front. Yeah, Xbox exclusive. Yeah. So definitely, that was definitely one of the.
It's understandable, because
of course
they own it.
Yeah.
They own the fucking thing now.
Absolutely. And the sad part is, here's the sad part: that Outer Worlds 2, I can already guess that it will be way different from Outer Worlds 1, because I feel Outer Worlds 1 was Obsidian without any backing, just doing their own thing, which is why that game is good, not great. You know, it had, you know, it was hitting a lot of
You
the
can see
notes
the
that it needed to.
limitation.
Yeah, you saw
Yeah.
some of the limitations in funding, some of the limitations in development time.
Mhm.
Now that they're, you know, a Microsoft company, they're, you know, they you know,
They have
the sky's the limit at
unlimited
this point.
funds.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, I feel like Outer Worlds 2 is going to make Outer Worlds 1 look like fucking Far Cry, fucking Fallout 3. You know what I mean? It's just like it's gonna make it look like that. So um it's cool that's happened. It was also a bit of a bummer because it's like, okay, so we're never, you know, obviously anybody outside of the Xbox camp is not gonna be able to see that anywhere else. And it is what it is. I mean, you know, once you become
I think
exclusive, it's like, well, it is what it is.
with
So
this after this showing and the things that they haven't, there's studios there that that they obviously own now, and
Mhm.
they haven't mentioned anything. But I feel like the actual winner of this thing, of the Xbox event, well, I will actually give it the award is
Give it
fucking
who?
Game Pass. It's
Oh,
Game
oh
Pass.
yeah.
It's Game
Yeah, yeah.
Pass because when you see all of these games that were announced, which even Forza Horizon 5 and Microsoft Flight Simulator and
The Outer
Replays and
Worlds and
Starfield and the
Replays
Outer
and yeah,
Worlds
yeah, and Stalker. Yep.
the fact that if you're paying the subscription, which let's say right now is what, $15 a month.
I think it was 10,
Let's say
but maybe it was 15. I don't know. I don't pay for it. So.
it was 10 or 15. Let's say 15, with the chance that by the time that all those games are out, they're probably gonna increase it to 20, because I mean, and it'll still be like an amazing deal. It's still like you're getting to play all those games day one, and that's the thing that you should be more excited rather than, well, I get to play Halo Infinite. Yeah, I get to play Halo Infinite and not pay for it. And when I say not pay for it, I don't mean like Game Pass is free, because again, subscription service. I'm saying, well, for everything that is giving me already, with all the other stuff, it might as well be. It's the PSN thing. When you get PSN games for free, you're not getting them for free, but you should call them for
you
free.
have the service, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you
they're free with the service.
service.
That's what it's coming. Yeah.
Exactly. So is that. So I feel like that's the real winner here, because you get to play Stalker 2, you get to play Starfield, Replay, Psychonauts when it comes out, Redfall, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, all the first party, all
of those. And that's without talking about, well, the EA thing that they have, that's it's a ridiculous value. If
it is,
if you feel sorry, if I feel like the people that feel bad, like, well, now I don't get to play Outer Worlds. Well, actually, you should actually now start to consider, maybe it's time to put the fanboyism aside and get at least an Xbox Series S, because it sounds like that paired with a Game Pass is an insane deal, and there's really not reason not to, unless you just want to limit yourself because you have a fanatism for Sony or whatever, or Nintendo, if you're that type of person. Like,
yeah,
I salute you if you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy Metroid.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But finally, I just want to say about Halo Infinite, because we wanted to know, okay, what's the status of this game. The first showing was not positive. It was quite horrendous, actually, and it didn't matter, because it didn't matter that it was Halo. People called it for what they saw. It looked like crap. It looked like shit. It was not good. So they went ahead and they turned back and started working on it, and now they have released a single player trailer that is not gameplay. It's just a trailer.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Multiplayer.
That is one of my awards, my friend. Still MIA. Halo single player. That's exactly what I have written here. Still MIA.
To me, it's like literally
I mean, missing in action. Yeah. I mean,
we could call a lot of these games MIA.
No, because there was no. How do I say this?
Expectation.
There was no expectations behind. Like, for instance, a lot of even with Starfield is like, okay, you're showing it off. There's no expectation that you're gonna have gameplay. It's like you hope you have gameplay. With Halo Infinite,
to see gameplay on Halo, because the
with
first
Halo
one
Infinite, you've already shown gameplay, and it got panned. Yeah, it did. Hello, that's what they were panning the entire time. So it's like, okay, you showed gameplay. Right. So now the biggest question mark coming into this was, okay, what did you do to improve that? And you didn't show any of it. You showed multiplayer. Which was the multiplayer gameplay, it's like, okay, multiplayer.
That's showing gameplay.
True,
that's showing the HUD.
But that's multiplayer gameplay. And we all know that is not the same game. It is a different beast. Oh, by the way, we need to point out that the multiplayer is also free to play. Which is
that was
very cool. And I do want to bring that up because it does draw a question about something else, but I'll pin that for a moment. So that's why I give it the award of still MIA. It's like, okay, so what we were expecting to see, because I was really curious to see, it's like, okay, what are those improvements? What did you do? Does it look? Remember, it was one of my ridiculous predictions. Where it would look exactly the same as it did, whatever. The last time they showed it off, but that was really a ridiculous prediction. I was like, if you put it back in the oven, I figure it's going to look different. You know what I mean? So, but obviously, whatever it is that they're doing, they are still doing. Because
they're still working on it.
They're still working on it.
They're still working on it. So they're not ready to show.
It's still MIA in the sense that this is your major blowout. And by the way, they had an event here yesterday where it was more of like an extended gameplay session ever. And when it got to the Halo portion, it was just a crew on a stage dissecting the trailer that we saw of the multiplayer, and it says, okay, so you really don't have anything going on, and not that they're not doing anything. I have utmost confidence that they're working on it, but it is still missing. It's still the thing that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I'm not even a fucking Xbox guy. So I'm sure there are a lot of Xbox guys going, they got probably blindsided by the multiplayer because everybody wants to play the Halo multiplayer. I get that. But at the same time, it's still that major question mark that wasn't answered. So I don't mean this in any bad way. It's just, that's still something that was missing, that was not addressed in this particular thing that I thought would be. So that's why I give him that particular word. Still MIA. The Halo single player.
That's completely you. I don't give it an MIA. They show Halo Infinite. They show the multiplayer, but they show what Halo Infinite is. I believe they showed the improvements in the engine. They didn't show gameplay. That's true, but they did show the improvement that they made in the engine. Where if you were to if you're interested in seeing, and I feel like Digital Foundry has a very good video on it. Side by side, even the shots of the ring as it pans out, you can see like a difference in the graphical fidelity. It looks like, okay, this is actually the next gen that we were hoping to see versus the one that you gave us, which was definitely last gen.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second. Don't say anything because I connect my headset and I'm back. Okay. So and considering also the multiplayer was running at 120 frames per second. That means that in order to achieve that, they had to turn some settings down.
No, I'm not. I'm not. See, I'm not taking away from that. Go ahead.
But what I'm saying is like, and the multiplayer looked good. Like, I'm not gonna say like it blows my mind. I'm not gonna say that because that's not like the multiplayer of Halo. That as far as the maps and the colors that they choose and stuff, it has a particular style that I believe they were actually going for, which I believe this achieves without blowing I don't think, and because again, they need to tone it down a little bit so they can run the fucking thing at 120 frames per second.
I get you. Yeah. But it does still.
The single player should.
The single player
should end up being better. But go ahead.
No, and yeah, and again, I don't think that it's not going to look better. I'm just saying that it just wasn't something they showed off. That said, um, the multiplayer that they did show off, yeah, it looks like very solid, very action packed, very it's a solid multiplayer. I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to be good. I don't play these kind of games anyway, multiplayer, so
Right.
so it doesn't really interest me. But it does look like something that those who are into Halo will
Halo
definitely
fans,
be. Yeah, they are
this is
going to
what
be
they want.
all
Yeah.
eating it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said,
Absolutely.
it does draw into question. This is the part I wanted to unpin at this point. This is Halo, which is obviously a highly desirable multiplayer game that's going to be free to play. And also shown off at this particular conference was Battlefield 2048, which is not free to play. And I believe it's coming out at $70. It concerns me here. It's like, so I don't know how Battlefield is going to fare, especially after the last Battlefield where it wasn't the highest of their thing. So
reading the room, it looks like even at $70 on consoles, it's still gonna do very well.
Well, it better, and it does look. And obviously they're two different games, so I'm not trying to say in any way. But when I look at the game, in comparison, when I look at the multiplayer of Battlefield, and when you see all the destructible elements, all the all the different things you can do, and then you look at Halo. Now Halo again is a different thing, but one has to look at it and go, well, this does have a more simplistic feels like it's a bad word, but I mean it does have a more simplistic look to it versus the other one. So that's why I was like, so I understand that obviously everybody who is interested in Halo is going to be really into it. I guess as someone from the outside looking in, because I don't play Battlefield either, so it's not like you're going to see me. I played Battlefield 1 with you guys like twice. You know what I mean? That was it. So I don't play either of them. But as someone sitting on the outside, when you look at a multiplayer game, and you're looking at it, okay, so this is Battlefield 2048, this is Halo Infinite. There's a stark difference. Now, clearly, Halo Infinite is free, so it doesn't fucking matter anyway. But I'm just saying, it's just like there's a clear, stark difference between the two, and it's as someone again from sitting on the outside, it's a little bit concerning when I go, I feel like this is your flagship title. It should be the one that stands out as even someone from the outside looking in going, damn, that shit looks crazy.
Which one?
Halo.
Think about it this way. Cause you mentioned as someone from the outside, looking in, and that's perfectly understandable. This are going to look like, well, the multiplayer games. Yes. But it's almost like assuming, well, the Fortnite player should also like Apex because they're both battle royale games, or the person that plays, Battlefield should like Call of Duty also because they're both military shooters. And the reality is that that's not the case. The each player has its own player base. Granted, some of them do
crossover,
between because especially if Halo's is going to be different, Halo's going to be free to play. Why the fuck not? The thing with Halo is that you nailed it when you said Halo. It's the graphics of the Halo multiplayer. There's nothing mind blowing about them. They look exactly like they're meant to look. Like what they're meant to evoke, and they have decided to focus on tightening up the gameplay portion of it, the feel of it, the 120 frames per second. To be able to hit 120 frames per second, you got to make huge concessions on graphics. I mean, look at if you ever look at a Call of Duty video where they talk about that. Not just the videos of the people playing, but the people, the ones where they're talking about, well, this is how they looks when it runs at 120 frames per second. Yes, it's achievable, but the shit you're cutting it's insane. Like, I wouldn't want to play that if I was focused on visuals. But in a multiplayer game, you're not focused on the visual because you are focusing on, well, let's make sure that I don't get murder here, that I don't get killed. So of course they made those concessions, and I feel like they, I mean, I haven't played the game to say in its entirety, but considering with what Call of Duty released, to be able, Call of Duty, an engine that should by now be the pinnacle of polish, considering what they had to do to achieve that, I understand why it needs to look the way, it looked that way. And considering all that and knowing, more or less about what that graphic ship could do, I say they did a good job with that. This is actually what Halo is meant to look like. And I'm completely fine. And the fact that they're opening it free to play, first of all, that's gonna get monetized the fuck out of, because they're already saying, and the season passes, and the seasons. Yeah. And by the way, the seasons, you will be able to buy the previous season, which everybody flipped about that, apparently for whatever reason. All I understand the reason, you don't want to miss out. You can, but that tells you that it's basically them saying, oh, and the store is going to be open 24/7. We're going to have everything available, even the stuff that we released before for you to buy. You're going to have a chance to buy. Well, yay! Of course, that's how they make the money on the free to play portion of it. And I'm fine with that, unless they monetize it the wrong way. And I don't feel like they're gonna. The single player is the part that they're planning on selling you, right? Unless you're a Game Pass, in which case they already sold you Game Pass. And on the single player, it's true. They didn't show the actual gameplay. What they show is enough for me to say, I don't personally call it MIA, because MIA will mean it was missing. It was completely it was not, the game was not shown. And the stage that it was shown, yes, it didn't show the gameplay. So if you want to call the gameplay, it was MIA, then I'm with you on that.
That's what I put.
All right. The MIA, the gameplay of it was MIA. But what they show is enough to regain, for me to, as a Halo player, to regain trust in the, okay, they are actually making right by this game. This game is not gonna have fucking Craig, like the first one. And
yeah, they're gonna definitely address those, hopefully. But I'm pretty sure they will. Yeah.
And from the looks of the forums, I'm just gonna call them forum. I'm talking about like Reset Era and NeoGAF. It seems like not everybody agrees 100%, because of course it's the internet, huh? But for the most part, a lot of people are in consensus that yes, they're going the right way, and it doesn't worry me that they haven't shown it just yet, because I still believe it'll be shown sometime. I mean, if they want to hit, what is their goal? 2022?
They haven't said
holiday
anything this year.
Holiday this year?
Yes.
Oh, holiday this year. They need to show something like that in like the next couple of months.
I know.
They don't have a lot of time to
remember, they've already shown it off. They showed it off Game Awards last year. So it's not like we haven't already seen it. We do know what it looks like. It's like, but it looked a bit dated. So yeah. And we're a bit giving credit where credit is due. We're only 6 months past that at this point, so it's like, okay, well, maybe they don't have
6 months past.
Game Awards it was in December. We're in June. So it's only been 6 months.
Is that what they showed, Craig? I thought that was actually in their last E3 that they had.
No, there was no E3 last year.
I know, but I thought it was the previous one. So you're telling me that?
No, it was last year. Yeah,
Craig was last year in December. They did not. No. I'm seriously surprised, because if this is the work that they did in 6 months, then what the fuck are we worrying about? If they did this in 6 months, then I'm okay with it getting delayed next year, because it looks like they're going at a very good pace.
I mean,
if that's the case,
but that's the thing that they're still saying holiday of this year. So chances are it may get delayed, but that's gonna. Remember, it was supposed to come out December of last year. It was or the end of last year. So no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't. Yeah, I don't
the end
think,
of the year. Maybe it was during like the summer. So I take that back. So it's been a year. I think I take that back. I think it's been a year because I remember it was supposed to come out last fall or right around. It was supposed to be a launch with the Xbox Series X, and it got delayed. So yeah, so it was definitely
it was early
that
because
was shown off.
It was early. You know what? It was December of 19.
Really?
I bet.
Oh.
No. I'm just looking at Halo Infinite's Craig meme explain, and this is from Game Rant, and this is published on July 26th of 2020.
Yeah, so that it was definitely the summer of 2020. So summer of 2020 was when it showed up.
Game Showcase. That would have been June. It would have been a year.
So it's a year now. Because it was supposed to release in December.
Yeah, there was no E3, but Microsoft did something. Yeah,
they did something. Yeah. So it's only been a year. But it's supposed to come out this year, and they already moved it from last year. So clearly, there's a time frame.
Because it was not. Yeah. Whatever they had, it was like
it was not. It was not what they did not want that for sure.
Yeah.
So
they can't afford it to
we'll definitely
fail though.
I agree. We'll definitely see what comes out from that. But I still put in, that's my MIA. A Halo single player gameplay. My last one here, is a biggest surprise, which should comes no surprise, and of course it's the Plague Tale Requiem, which is the sequel to Plague Tale Innocence.
Yeah.
I was not expecting, I really thought that game did not earn a sequel. And I mean, because I thought it was good. I thought it was really good, but when it comes to it, it comes down to money, right? And I just didn't.
Right.
I didn't know if it's sold enough to merit a sequel. You know what I mean? So to know that it's happening, oh yes,
good it's stuff. Exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting.
It's exciting. Are we not going to talk about Stalker 2? Because that looked ridiculous.
You can, sir. I had no connection to it other than it looked good.
But I mean, exactly. Just at least the mere doesn't it? I don't know. Even if you haven't heard about it, this is not the type of game that you need to play the first one. It's not a sequel in that sense.
We also looked at it and going, this kind of looked a little like a tech demo, because we were looking at it as this. It looked a little weird in the fact that it was just more showing off weird.
There was less. There was but in retrospect, I think it's. I mean, that's Stalker is not a shooter game in the sense of Stalker is like you said it actually like Metro in the sense that it has a lot of those slow moments, and it's a European FPS, bro.
I mean, like I said, it looked good. I'm not saying it did look good.
It looked
there wasn't a lot to go with other than the fact that it looked good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, it looked good, but I didn't feel the need to linger on it. But feel free if you need to, sir.
I don't think. I don't think. I mean, it is.
It did show gameplay, but we did see the gameplay on it. It was very dark, and I don't know if it was just because it was the video being compressed or what it was, but it's just like there was several moments where all you can see is the gun in front of you. You can barely see what's out there.
Right.
When the thing
they're also in a freaking underground place, but I hear you.
Yeah. It's just
very dark.
It looked good, and
it has some amazing
props.
It's. I'm looking at a Digital Foundry recollection thing that they do. And when you see the graphics of the outside, they don't look colorful. They certainly look very, very gray, but it's that realistic looking one. I want to take a screenshot and send it to you so you can see what I'm talking about, because I think that game looks phenomenal, and I haven't heard anything about it being necessarily an exclusive or anything like that. I could be wrong, but this is a game that should probably be on people's radar. If anything, because
then
it
I would
does
assume
look.
that they'll do a good job of putting it on people's radar. I mean, like I said, it looked good. I like the little tale that they were telling, with the guys around like the campfire or some shit like that.
Dude, the
And
RT, the ray tracing on it, you could actually see ray tracing on console. It's like it was very well done. I mean, there was a part where we were like, okay, that's gotta be fake.
I wasn't. I thought everything was in game. And so it comes out April 28th of 2022. So
You're a very hard person to impress, then, evidently. I mean, of all the games, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I were to give an award for a better looking game, it probably would have been this one. Because Forza, I expected. Forza is a racer,
and I feel so it's a little bit, bit easier to get what you're trying to get out of it. I do get that.
Look at this screenshot. Especially if you were looking for a resistance game. Not that I'm comparing this to. It's not a resistance type of game, but I'm saying, like, this is what I would expect a resistance to look like as far as the world. If I wanted to convey a realistic looking world that looks like, devastated because of alien wars or whatever. That looks kind of insane. The use of shadow, the use of reflection, the tower reflecting on that water. Like, if you're telling me that, yeah,
dude, I'm saying it looks good. I'm just saying that just because it looks, hello, my game of the show was replaced, and that was a pixel art game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, it's good that it looked good, but what else does it have? The reason I even picked replace, although I did also pick Forza, because Forza really was, let's be real, it was just the game of the show for them. But it always is when they showcase those, you know what I mean? Because they know that this is going to come out and people are going to love this. I'm not taking away from Stalker. There was nothing there other than a very cool looking, trailer, and it didn't grasp me. You know what I mean? And not for anything. It's not like Metro 2033 ever did either. I always picked that up much later. And Last Light and all the other ones, the other ones that came out. I never even picked the more recent one that I can't remember the name of it. Metro Exodus. I never even picked that one up. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not. It's just it doesn't call my attention. You know what I mean? And this did look cool. And I was like, oh, that looks like it's gonna be pretty good. But other just the beautiful reflections and everything, I was like, well, that's great. But I don't know what else is involved. You know what I mean? There's got to be something else going on.
In that, though. This is not PC. That's what blows my mind. This is all of this is actually like when I saw there was a part. The part that I was referring where I said, "Oh, we probably thought that it was fake." Is the part where there was like I don't remember if it was a brick wall or something that has a reflection. I'm still here. I'm still here. It's still recording. Don't worry.
Lost Stream Twister.
And that part,
you just went off. I did not hear you at all.
I'm still. I said I'm still here. Don't worry. It's still recording. It don't matter. I was saying that there was like a brick wall that looked like wet, and the way that it was reflecting the light and all that. See,
at the very beginning,
I am. I knowing what normally will take to show those levels of graphics, and I'm not saying that graphics are everything, because you're right. The gameplay is going to be what matters at the end, but looking something like that. And knowing what Stalker 1 was, it's what has me like impressed. Like, oh shit, this is actually running on a console. And unless they just fuck it and make it 30 frames per second, which I can definitely see it happening at this level of
fidelity.
Mm-hmm. It still looks fucking impressive. But that's me. I'm a graphics whore.
Well, I thought you were a frame rate whore. You can't be
Oh,
both
more
now,
than
bro.
anything, yeah. If
So-
like I said, if they show me this and it's 30 frames per second, I'm gonna be like, okay, no, thank you. That's anything could have done that. You know?
and honestly, if if it ends up being 30 frames per second, and yet ends up being a fascinating story, or something that does something, the reviews come out and they go and they're like nines and tens, like, okay, I'll give it a shot. You know what I mean? But I have no connection to it. No connection to Stalker 1. And so when we saw this and you saw Stalker 2, you obviously had some connection to it. Or at least you heard about it. You even mentioned during the reaction that you were like, oh no, there's probably people that are going to be really into this. I'm like, well, I'm good for them because I have no connection to it, so that's why I was like, oh, that's cool. But no, not for me. I mean, not that it will not be for me, but it just didn't. I mean, look at what I was excited about, dude. Plague Tale replaced. You know what I'm saying? It's like I guess I'm just at a different level. I guess I don't know. I'm just at I'm not that far. I'm still a console guy, where graphics really, don't always matter. But anyway, any last thoughts on the Bethesda, Xbox Bethesda? Anything?
No, they had. I mean, with or without competition, they had an amazing showing. I think
for sure.
If I'm a Xbox person, I would be pleased with this. Which
should be shit.
This it feels like, as opposed to like other years, I feel like there have been more games shown, but less games actually released. And this one, at least, a lot of the games that I'm excited about are from houses where, I mean, they're from them. So unless they end up canceling it, which is a very good probability with, with their, but it feels like they're very in enough to where they will probably be releasing within the next few years. And this is actually, I mean, this is what we wanted to know. If this answers the question, well, what's coming on the next, couple of years? Well, here it is.
It does. It does answer the question as to what. Yeah, it answers the question. What are you guys working on?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't answer all of them because they do have a lot of other studios, which is good. Also, that means hey,
they're not gonna fucking unload their fucking on one E3 show, especially if they don't have games ready, because they can have a lot of studios that are idle right now.
So that's good.
Or maybe they're working for the next year, because remember they need to fill up all years. But
there's a few of these. I guess there's a few of these that are already in 2022. So it's interesting. So a lot of these other ones, and something that got shown later on, which I think I mentioned, which was the sequel to Senua's Sacrifice, or Senua's.
Yeah, that was not shown.
It was shown. Well, the developers did come on to talk about it in the Xbox thing that happened yesterday, and there was no gameplay. And believe me when I tell you, you walk out of that little presentation going, so you guys are just starting this. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of, and I wonder if, exactly. I wonder how many of the studios that they've already acquired are just starting on, like for instance, the trailer that you saw for the Arcane game. Well, Arcane's working on Deathloop, and that's coming out that's not out yet. That's coming out soon. So they obviously don't have anything else. They only had that quick game. It wasn't even a gameplay. It was just a trailer. And it wasn't a quick trailer, for the record. It was a very well done trailer. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of these studios, I feel like we're going to see more of that down the line, which is probably why we didn't see all of them. But they still had a very, very strong show. And like I said, and like you said, it does answer, hey, what do you guys have going on? The question of exclusives is no longer a question. You know what I mean? Right. It's like it's nipped in the bud. It is, Starfield. We know it's not. We know it's not coming. Outer Worlds. We know it's not coming. You know what I mean? And for any of the PlayStation guys out there who still have some hope, guys, let it go. Chances are, Doom is not coming. Wolfenstein is not coming. It's they are now Xbox. So it is what it is. Look for other avenues. So. Anyway, Not a lot of big ones
And
after
Game
this.
Pass, fucking. I mean, if you're an Xbox owner and you don't have Game Pass, like, what are you doing? Like,
What is the point? Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like you don't know what you're doing at that point. I need you to turn your Xbox back in, please. Thank you.
You bought a souped up car and you just have it parked in the driveway doing nothing.
Yeah. It makes no sense. All right. So next few here, like I said, we could do really quick. Square Enix was the main next one. They did show off Guardians of the Galaxy. They showed off some gameplay, and it looks actually pretty good. Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin was revealed and made us all laugh. Babylon's Fall, which
I heard that game has chaos in it.
I heard it too, yeah. Babylon's Fall, Platinum's live service co-op action game, got a new trailer. The Avengers 2021
nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah, no, not at all. Another one. The Avengers 2021 content roadmap was revealed. Life is Strange True Colors showed off some gameplay. They also mentioned the remastered collection of the first Life is Strange, which includes Life is Strange 1 and 2 and Before the Storm. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster gathers all the first 6 games for Steam and mobile. Legend of Mana is arriving on PlayStation 4, Switch, and Steam on June 24th, which is right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Square Enix had an entire mobile montage because they don't get it. So, real quick, I think personally, my game of the show would probably have to be easily and really more of a default Guardians of the Galaxy, as I think is the game of their show. It looked good. It was funny. I chuckled at a couple of the things on it. I think the voice acting looked pretty well. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the combat. I just don't know how it works. It looks like it's very almost Mass Effect like, where you control one person, but you have a menu to control everybody else. And it looked it didn't look very fluid. So I wasn't, So I'm not sure. Obviously there's time. The game is set to come out October 26th. So hopefully they can pin that down, but that's definitely easily the game of the show there for me.
I agree that when I think about, in retrospect, at first I was very skeptical of it, just because after the catastrophic failure that ended up being fucking Marvel's Avengers in it, which nobody's fucking playing right now, evidently.
Nope.
And the gameplay, because the gameplay was boring and repetitive, of course. I was kind of concerned at first of like, oh, we got another, Marvel game done by or published by Square. Somehow Square deemed this train wreck worthy. What's this gonna do now? And then I saw, like you said, the combat, although, cool, it looked a little too babysitty. Where you have to command your other characters to do the things that they have to do. But in retrospect, I think I might have been a little harsh on it. Obviously, I haven't played this to say, oh, this is way too clunky, because that's what it looks. That's what it looked like. As far as the character, the representation of each character, and I'm in no way expecting any of the characters of any of this game to look like their movie, tie-ins, nor would I want to, because then that just makes it a movie game, and fuck that, those are never good, with the only one exception ever. Which is Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay. The banter of these characters was like legitimately what you expect from Guardians of the Galaxy, and
this is an affront to democracy. That was a great line, dude.
It is, it is. It's going, it's going very Guardians of the Galaxy. It feels like at least it captures that. I did not like the choice for freaking what's his name?
Star-Lord?
For Star-Lord, yeah, like I did not like that look at all with the, I don't know. He just looks like too, he looks like a Gears of War bro, and
Two dude,
which
bro.
to put on the voice that he has, it makes it even more bizarre. Like I don't like it at all. But everybody else was right on the money, like perfect. Yes. Mantis looks awesome. Rocket looks awesome. Groot looks awesome. Uh, um, Not Nebula. Gamora. Every all the other characters was nailed. Like I said, their banter was cool. It looks like it has some sort of, like, it seems to have a system in the background where your actions might determine something. I don't know what it is, but it was like you were making choices throughout the game, and with the chances of changing your mind. So that makes me think like, oh, okay, so this probably gonna have some sort of like probably some major consequence at some point in the game, and like that's cool. Like
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully they'll nail that, and the battles do look pretty rad. Like I said, like with the exception of the controlling like everything, all the characters, like that look clunky, but they still have time to. I will imagine they probably will have time to make that a little
adjustment.
bit
simpler. Yeah. Hopefully they can.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have any other awards to give out. The only other one I have, and I think you probably agree with me on this one, but is the WTF award, which of course would go to the game called Chaos. Oh wait, no, it's called Chaos. No, I'm sorry. It is definitely called Chaos.
It is definitely called Chaos.
Also known as Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. This is a horrible name.
It's a horrible name.
It's so chaotic of a name. I don't know.
It's a weird idea also because, I mean, it's like in paper it sounds good. Game about the events of the first Final Fantasy. But then you look at the art style, it's like, these people play Final Fantasy 1 to know what the art style is meant to, like what they're trying to mimic? Like,
you would hope. You would hope. Yeah, so they really didn't have a lot going on for that one. It was just a shame because it's Final Fantasy, and it is a Final Fantasy that's supposed to be Souls-like, also very action oriented as opposed to the turn-based. Right. But I don't know, it was not impressive at all. Another kind of WTF moment, maybe a surprise, is like you're gonna take the first 6 games and remaster them and then release them for Steam, which is cool, and then mobile, and it's like,
yeah,
why are you not bringing this to console? I don't understand.
I don't want mobile games on my Steam library. Thank you very much.
And I kind of wouldn't mind thinking about going through the first 1 through 6 Final Fantasies if you bring it to console. What the hell? So
yeah,
I don't know. So yeah, that's all I got for Square. I don't know if you have anything else on there.
Life is Strange, True Colors look neat.
Yeah,
I want to play that.
Yeah, I didn't see anything new. Was I shown off on their last Square Enix Presents. So, but overall, yeah, it does still look good. I don't know. I just don't know if they're going to hit the same heights that they did with the first Life is Strange. I feel like they knocked it out of the park, and they just kind of trying to capture that lightning in the bottle again. So, all right, guys. Obviously, we still have a few more of the press conferences, but we are running a little bit behind on time here, or over on time, or maybe just a lot of time. I don't know. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this in half and make it a part 2 for next week. And of course, next week will include some of the other smaller conferences, but we'll also include Nintendo, which is one of the bigger ones. And I think we were both pretty well. I know I was.
we need to talk about the Switch Pro Plus. Of course.
Oh yeah. Announced here on GG.
As a teaser. More to come.
More to come. But anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, guys, if it's your first time listening, please go to goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off this week, saying I am so happy to say everyone have an awesome, happy Juneteenth. New federal holiday. If you haven't heard, it is celebrating the end of the official end of slavery in America, and it's about time. Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Mr.
Juneteenth.
Dream Twister, take us home. I
am Groot.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know you were into that kind of
I don't
craziness.
mean to offend anybody.
Yes,
but that's what I think.
Man. I don't know if you kiss your mom with that mouth, but that's fine.
I mean, so what if we get censored? I just have to say it.
Okay, fair enough.
It needs to be said.
Fair enough.
In Groot language.
You heard it. You heard it here first, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. GG!